Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a massive game of the International Rugby weekend. England hosting the Springboks in what is a rematch of the World Cup semi-final. This game only around 55 minutes away, but we've got so much to look through, so much to talk about as we build towards the kickoff of this game. First of all, though, the starting lineups. England having to make a few switches compared to what they had last week up against the All Blacks, up against Australia, which once again was that narrow defeat. But Alice Genge, Jamie George and Will Stewart, they are in the front row. Maro Itoje at 4 in this game, going head-to-head with Eben Etzebeth. That is, of course, going to be must-see, as those two men regarded as two of the best locks in the world of rugby. George Martin at number 5. He will be starting up against Arge Snyman, who hasn't had too many starts in his time, never alongside Eben Etzebeth. So that is a bit of history that's being made today as well. Chandler Cunningham himself at number 6 with Sam Underhill at 7 and Ben Earl number 8. He needs a big game because he's up against Jasper Wiese and he's been a little bit quiet up against Australia and New Zealand so far. So a massive chance here at Allianz Stadium. I'm still going to call it Twickenham though. Jack Van Porflier will be the starting 9 with Marcus Smith at 10, Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence in the midfield combination. Now I do prefer Lawrence on the inside, 12 rather than 13. I feel like he suits that role a lot better, definitely up against Damien Dialendi. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not we see that midfield switched at some stage throughout this game or whether they do stick with that combo. Ollie Slateholm at number 11 was a real super sub in the last game up against Australia. Fiua Bosso not playing in this game. Tommy Freeman moves to the right wing and Freddie Stewart at 15 rather than George Furbank. Looking through at the starting lineup for South Africa, Oxnashare, Bongi Umbanambi and Wilco Low at number 3. Now this is a significant number for Wilco Low, not so much for him personally, but for the team. He is the 50th player that Rassie Erasmus has tried out in a starting lineup or off the bench for 2024. So he is building beyond the depth that many other sides can even dream of at the moment. And I mean, Wilco Low, number 50. I mean, we saw Quagga get his 50th match last week, but Wilco Low now the 50th player for this year to step on the field. Eben Etzebeth and Arge Snyman, like I said, the first time that we have ever seen these two in a starting lineup together. We've seen them locked together many times, but never in that starting team. Sia Khaleesi at number 6, Peter Steftatoy at number 7, and Jasper Wiese at 8. Now that is all three men who came off the bench last week, a part of that 7-1 split, but they're now all starting for this contest. Grant Williams and Mani Lebok as the 19 combination. Now, depending on who you talk to, depends on whether that concerns them that this is the starting lineup or whether or not they're very happy about it. Mani Lebok, of course, we know what kind of attacking that man can bring to the table. Definitely the more aggressive with the ball in hand compared to Andre Pollard, who they do have the security of off the bench. But when it comes to that kicking tee, there are still many questions that will soon be answered, whether or not Lebok has been working on it tirelessly or whether there could be a few points left out there on the field. But Williams, normally the super sub, normally a part of that 6-2 split. But because they've gone with the 5-3 here, Williams gets that chance. And the starting side, Dialendi and Jesse Creel, the best midfield combo in World Rugby today, with Kutli Arnsa, Cheslin Kolbe and Apelele Fasi all at the back. So 3 changes compared to what they had in the last match up against the Scottish. But making 12 total changes in a starting lineup, some would call it crazy. Others would say it's just Rassie Erasmus doing Rassie Erasmus things. Looking through at the comments, there are a lot of them already. I do appreciate every single one of you for being here. We have got Sandor, we've got Jeremy, Shaz, Martin, Ruth, Manny's here, CX Matters, Zenda, Soraya, Papa as well is here, Jeremy, and Cool Story Bro. Also in the chat we've got there from Joss. Hi Hamish, thanks again for the commentary. I have a schoolmate from 45 years ago who is working in the desert and contacted me about a link to the rugby. He'll be joining you tonight. Well, welcome in as soon as he does get here. Pretty awesome that you are recommending the channel to other people. Bok will score 4 tries in each half. Geez, that's a lot of points. How many points are you giving them in total, Leon, if that is the case? Because that is at least 20 from just scoring tries alone for each half. So you're looking at a 40 plus here for the Springboks by the sounds of it. And we have Gadia High says, Yucko, welcome in. And Bok's going to make mincemeat out of the Poms, says Manny M. And the interesting thing about this game, I mean, we've got so many stats to look through for this contest. But England, they have really struggled to close out games over the last maybe 12 or so months, even a little bit prior to that. And we've got all of their matches that have taken place, and so many of them are split by less than 7. So you wonder whether or not the Springboks will be close with them in this game and it will go down to the wire, or maybe that they can pull away earlier. But just because they made a whole heap of changes in that starting lineup doesn't mean that they won't be able to gel straight away, as that is something that the Springboks have been known for. Rassie making on average around 8 or 9 changes per lineup throughout 2024, and they still do extremely well throughout those matches. But last week up against the Scottish, there were a few rusty moments for South Africa, it can be said. So maybe these switches will be for the better. England 16-19 for the South Africans, says Jared there. And good evening, good morning from Sudan. And I think this is going to be a fiery match. I call South Africa for the win, but sometimes these English like to spoil our party, says Marius. I mean, we saw that World Cup semi-final, how close it was between those two sides, like a game of inches, and that is why it's so important. And I think that's why so many people are nervous about that kicking tee, because literally one kick here for either side to miss, or a drop kick missed from England, or anything along those lines, a last-minute kick from George Ford that doesn't go over the post, could be the biggest difference in this matchup. And Labok and Khaleesi are the flops that Rassie has thrown in. I mean, one of those two that you've just mentioned is the Springbok captain, and some regard him as the greatest Springbok captain of all time, but he's a really good player, Sia Khaleesi, and I know some people don't like to see him in that loose ball trio, but when you look at what Mako van Staden did last week, I would still take Khaleesi over him in that starting lineup. I feel like van Staden didn't look too bad at all, but for that experience and just that ability to run down the wing, Sia Khaleesi is definitely the man for the job. On the terms of Manie Libbok, it's extremely hard to know what Manie Libbok we're going to see here turning up, because he's either going to have that attacking style that he has in the URC, as well as when he gets the opportunity for the Springboks. I mean, we haven't seen a number 10 set up so many tries for the Boks in an incredibly long time. So that's the type of Libbok that they want out there. The one who's fearless, the one who will try things, because Marcus Smith will be right there with him. They will both be going for their own unique, I think we're going to see maybe 2 or 3 try of the year contenders here if these two are firing, which is very entertaining rugby that we will get to witness. Hi Hamish, Nigel here from Cape Town. What do you make of England's fullback? Does that mean we can expect aerial bombs? I think Freddie Stewart's safer under the high ball than George Furbank. So it makes it maybe a little bit trickier to know whether or not we're going to see so many up and unders. I think that we will see quite a few early, to be honest, but Freddie Stewart actually known for that high ball much more than Furbank is, and I think that's one of the main reasons that England did decide to just make that switch straight away. It's because they want to have someone who can be a little bit more safe. Last week between Scotland and South Africa, we saw the high ball was quite a problem for the Scottish. We saw Kainan Moody getting up and winning those aerial battles. So I think that's why they've got Stewart a little bit taller at the back as well. Not exactly a bad thing. And then Slateholm, I mean, the impact he had off the bench last week was very impressive. Great commentary, mate. The Boks will thrash the English, says Chris Knight there, and England is not a challenge. So we feel sorry for them, says Yako. I mean, the last time these two sides played, they were separated by 1 point. So, it's all well and good being confident, but at the same time, there's got to be that little bit of a plan in the back of the mind that maybe this game could be close, and they have to be prepared for that. Because if South Africa go into this game thinking they're going to breeze them, which I can guarantee you the players are not, they will know that this is going to be such a tough game. And yes, England have been close and lost both their games of November, including their most recent one up against the Australians when the Wallabies came in as huge underdogs, but they are still a dangerous team. I want to say when England have their back against the wall, that's when they're at their best, but we just look through at some of the recent English fixtures and you just wonder whether or not that is actually the case. So November, like I said, they lost to the Australians by 5, 42 points to 37. Then we saw the week prior, England lose to New Zealand, 24 points to 22. 32 points to 15, the win for the Springboks over Scotland. Scotland scoring more points than they did in the World Cup when the two sides met, but still not able to get themselves a single try throughout 160 minutes of rugby up against the green and gold. So that just tells you how strong the Springbok defence is, and when they get your number, they keep it, and they do not let you through. But talking about England, their July internationals. This is what happened for them. They lost by 7 up against the All Blacks. They lost by 1 the week prior. That is the big exception. They were able to beat the Japanese 52 points to 17, but people make a big deal out of Wales at the moment. The fact that they are on a 10-match losing streak. England have lost 4 in a row, 3 of which up against New Zealand. So this could make it 5 losses for the English in a row, and that makes exact sense of where they are on the world rankings at the moment. They can continue to drop, but if they can pull off a win here, that will help them gain their momentum back and go that little bit higher. But it got me thinking, looking at all these close games for the English, made me wonder, what do they do for the Six Nations? So I got those stats as well. Throughout the Six Nations, ladies and gents, as you can see here, it does not take a lot to split an English game in terms of those points. 2, the French won. They beat the Irish by 1. Lost by 9 against Scottish. 2-point win, 3-point win. So of their last 10 games, with the exception of the Japanese contest, they have been split by 9 or less. And then that made me think even further back to that Rugby World Cup. And this is what we saw. 3 points difference, 1 point difference, 6-point difference, 1 point difference. So England have got a tendency to have extremely close fixtures. Now, throughout this World Cup, to their credit, they had a few wins, but not that semi-final where there was the 1-point split. So they have to really work hard to close out the game. Just that 1 point is sometimes all it takes to get the big win. We have got there, you think Australia have any chance against Ireland? I think they'll go all right. I think Argentina proved that if you play your natural game up against the Irish, you can actually find some success. And yes, Ireland are still building into their November internationals, but I do think that the Australians have come a long way in the last little while. So it could be a very good game. Your clock stuck at 6:40, bud. That is the time that this game is going to be kicking off here in New Zealand. So that is a 7:40 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. Watch South Africa will give the bump off against England. See how Faf de Klerk wins. Man of the match sitting at home, says Martin. And the chat as well, how many minutes until kickoff? We are only sitting around 40 minutes or so from the start of this contest. So it is not going to be too far away, and that time will absolutely fly by. We've already been going 12 minutes, and I feel like we're still just getting the introduction done. And hold on to your hats, it's going to be a cracker, says Jane. Yeah, both of these sides will come out firing, I believe. And hopefully the weather plays ball, because if it doesn't, then that is where, I don't know, that selection of Marnie Libok, maybe they'd consider Pollard would have been the better choice for wet conditions. Shout out Regina, she's watching with me, again with her broken arm. She loves it, says Shay. So hopefully your arm is recovering, Regina, and it does heal up nicely. Only going on 4 a.m. here, Hamish, says Mr. All-In. And we have got there, South Africa staying number 1. Well, theoretically, they should. I don't think they're going to drop in the World Rugby rankings. What we'll do, though, is we'll get the exact numbers of how much they can drop and can gain from this contest. Now, because England are ranked 7th now, it actually means that it is very hard for South Africa to get a huge amount of buffer from this game. So even if South Africa were to win this game by 16 points or more, it means that they would only gain 0.47. Whereas to put that in perspective, if New Zealand won by the same margin up against France, New Zealand would gain 1.13, which would almost put them high enough, but not quite. If England were to just win this game, though, they would get 1.68 points, and that would drop South Africa down to number 3 in the world. And Ireland would actually go above them, even though they'd be on the same points. So there's a bit on the line for the South Africans, and that is why these Northern Hemisphere tours at the end of the year, they can do so much to the world rankings. Like I said, we've already seen England dropping down to 7th, one of the lowest rankings they have had in recent times. We've seen Argentina blossom up to number 5 in the rankings. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see how much it will change from this game as well as that next match. We've got another massive main event type of fight or main event type of game coming up a little bit later on between France and New Zealand. Another rematch from the Rugby World Cup. That's a bonus try for the Portuguese. Good morning, Hamish and the Kiwi lads. Chat says, Blues Nate, welcome in, mate. And kia ora, 2 in a row tonight, says Tar. That is the plan, yes. So we got this game, and then we have got the next one taking place between the All Blacks and Les Bleus. But moving on to the benches for this game. We haven't even mentioned them as of yet, but a 5-3 split for the Springboks. Now, I did predict it, which I'm pretty proud of, but then at the same time, the last 2 times that they've played the English, they have gone with that 5-3, but Malcolm Marks, Gerhard Stennekamp, and Vincent Koch as the number 18. So pretty much the stock standard of what we've seen throughout the November internationals last week. Well, actually, no, that's incorrect. From what we saw in the Rugby Championship, of course, last week we saw a whole heap of curveballs being thrown. And at that regard, Eldrick Lowe at number 19 and Quagga Smith at 20. Now, I saw some people trying to take Quagga completely out of the side after the way that he played last week, but of course he is known as that super sub, so he's in the perfect spot as that number 20. They also have the cover of Peter Steph de Toy for the locking duo, which is why we've seen Eldrick Lowe get that chance at number 19. Kobus Reinach for his first minutes of November. Andre Pollard at number 22 and Lucanio Arm at 23. Now, I was a little bit surprised to see Arm's name there, definitely because out of the backline last week, I don't think he was the best. In fact, he probably wasn't even top 3. Thought that maybe they would have considered Villy LaRue here, but they want a little bit more cover in the centre pairing, it would seem. And perhaps Rassi has a few tricks up his sleeve when it comes to Lucanio Arm. For the English, they've made a few changes compared to what we saw last week. Luke Cowan, Dickie Finn, Baxter, and Dan Cole as the front row replacements. Nick Ezekwe and Alex Dombrandt as the 20. Harry Randall, George Ford, and Tommy Roebuck at number 23. So they have got plenty of pace late, plenty of power with Alex Dombrandt and him versus Quagga Smith. I think it's going to be a battle of who can bring the biggest impact. And normally, when you say anyone's name and then Quagga Smith, it's normally the latter who has the better game. Looking through at what is coming up for these two sides as well, I should mention this is not their last game in November. The English, they'll be taking on the Japanese. That is taking place at 6:10 p.m. New Zealand time, 6:10 p.m. South African time on Sunday morning next week. And then Wales taking on the South Africans. It's going to be a big game to close it out. And the biggest question for that game is, what is the selection going to look like? Are we going to see Cameron Hanekom? Are we going to see a new makeshift backline from Rassi, Jordan Hendrickse, Jaden Hendrickse? It's all the questions that will soon be answered. Hamish has never been so serious. Says Cool Story Bro. I don't know about serious. I'm talking fast. Compared to yesterday, I was well and truly messing up my sentences. So I'm glad that I can almost put together words at the moment without massive problems. It must be the suit story, says Shaz. And today is all about grudge matches, says Sandor. Yeah, 2 games that of course did take place at that Rugby World Cup, and now we get to see it again. It's pretty awesome. The thing is though, the Rugby World Cup was over a year ago. I cannot believe that is how long it has been since that Rugby World Cup competition. I honestly feel like it was only yesterday. We did every single game on the channel, and now we get to do 2 matches that did take place in the World Cup and November internationals. They are still going strong. Tomorrow, in terms of the schedule, we are going to get to see Italy versus Georgia, Australia A versus the English A, and then Wales versus Australia. Of those 3 games, I believe Wales-Australia is the only one that we will be covering. But then next week, the last week of the internationals, with the exception of Australia versus Ireland. As you can see here, it is a stacked weekend for rugby yet again. France taking on the Argentines. That is on Saturday morning, New Zealand time. That'll be 10 p.m. for you guys in South Africa. Wales are going to be in action up against the Springboks. Ireland versus Fiji. Italy versus New Zealand. Scotland, Australia. Japan, England. Of course, that rivalry has built up quite nicely since Eddie Jones has coached both of them. But overall, just a really big weekend next week. And this weekend is still not over. We've got 3 massive games still to take place. Do they show the game? We do just do the commentary on the channel. And that is because of broadcasting restrictions. Any match footage or audio that you show ends up getting you taken straight off YouTube with a 3-month ban. Respect for the suit and tie. This early New Zealand hour, says Rian. Yes, currently it's 6:05 a.m. New Zealand time, which means we're only 35 minutes away from the kickoff of this game. You look like the cat's meow in your attire, Hamish, says Cassium. The cat's meow. Now, I've never heard that saying before, and I assume it's good or it's bad. Like, a cat's meow is all right. So, yeah, I'm not too sure whether it's a good or bad thing. So either thank you or that's slightly unfortunate. And go the Bok, says Yonka there. and Kolbe or starting hooker to get the first try. So you're saying either Bogi Umbanambi or Cheslin Kolbe to cross the try line first. We have got there, Kiwi lads. Do you get paid a lot from streaming, says Martin? I do not, but I do it because we absolutely love doing it on the channel, and getting to talk to you guys each and every week when we're watching games of rugby makes it all worthwhile. Like, at the end of the day, I always say any money that's made off the channel, I put straight back into the channel anyway. So it's more so like it pays for my Sky subscription to be able to commentate these games for you. It might pay for a new microphone every once in a while, but other than that, we just do it because we love to. And do you always wear the suit and tie? And are you here to attend the English fullback's funeral? Says Boy 10. We do wear it for the big matches, so we have heard that one about the funeral many times already, but yeah, it's going to be a tough day at the office for them, and they have to make sure that they muscle up early. Definitely this loose forward trio. Chandler Cunning himself, we've seen him already. He gets fired up when the opposition knock the ball on, or he ends up really screaming his head off when they win a penalty. But he needs to bring that intensity into the breakdowns as well, because South Africa will in this contest. They have to be physical, England, because if they're not, the Springboks, they could get themselves a lot of ball. Are they going to show the game? Just like I said just before, Christine, we are not. But we are going to be doing the commentary. Are you playing cricket today? We did play yesterday, or like the day that's just been here in New Zealand. And we have got there our lad, as always, in a suit and tie, says Adam. And we have got there, sorry for calling you I assume that's a tit last time, says Phil in there. I'm used to it by now. Like, that's the thing. We've been called many things in our time on YouTube. So normally when we see a new one, it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. That's creative, you know. Hello from Durban, says Unholy Monk. Welcome in, and good morning to the All Blacks win. They have not played yet. They will be playing in about 3 hours' time up against the French, and we are, of course, also going to be covering that one on the channel as well. Good morning, everyone. The Boks by 20, says Octo Dad. And we have got there the Boks by 10, says Marion, and the chat as well. But in terms of the starting lineups, for anyone who hasn't seen them already, we will once again show them just so that you are completely aware of who is taken to the field. For the English, it is going to be Ellis Genge, Jamie George, and Will Stewart. So the same front row as they did have last week up against Australia. Maro Itoje at 4. Him versus Etsebev, like I say each and every time, it's going to be must-see. Those two men, masters when it comes to stealing the ball in the lineouts. The rolling maul, it's going to be so crucial. The Springboks are normally extremely strong in getting that one marching forward. But Maro Itoje, he will be trying his best to cut right up the middle and cause a lot of disruption. George Martin at number 5 to partner with him. And the locking duo, Chandler Cunning himself at number 6 with Sam Underhill as the 7. He comes in for Tom Curry, who did have a head knock up against Australia, and Ben Earl slotting in as the number 8. Jack Van Porfliet comes in at 9 for Spencer, with Marcus Smith remaining at 10. He has been the X factor for the English in both the game up against New Zealand and Australia. But in both of those games, yet again, the English were just that little bit short. Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence in the midfield. They have decided to stick with Slade as the 12. I do think the better option, though, is to have Lawrence on the inside. So we'll have to wait and see how he goes up against Damien Dialendi. Ollie Slade home at number 11. Tommy Freeman at number 14. And Freddie Stewart comes into the starting lineup at number 15 to replace George Furbank. And I believe that is so that he can be under the high ball, because we might see Marnie Libok attempt a few up and unders throughout this game, and it could be relatively challenging for this English back three. But we know how dangerous the back three for the Springboks can be when they start running the ball in this game. Kurtley Arendse, Cheslin Kolbe, and Apalele Fasi. Fasi has really taken to that 15 jersey throughout 2024. I mentioned earlier on that they've had 50 different players in the Springbok side, but one thing that has remained almost the whole way through is Apalele Fasi at 15, with the exception of a couple games where we saw Willie Leroux given the opportunity. Jesse Creel and Damien Dialendi, they will be in the midfield combo, with the 9-10 being Marnie Libok, as well as Grant Williams. Peter Steph Toy will start at 7 into the starting side from coming off the bench last week. Same with Sia Khaleesi, and the same can be said about Jasper Visa in the locking duo for the first time ever. Eben Etzebeth with Arges Neyman. It is something that we have never seen in a Springbok starting lineup, which sounds crazy to say when you realise that Eben Etzebeth is the most capped Springbok of all time. Oxfordshire at number 1, Bongio Manambi at 2, and Wilco Lowe, the 50th player for the Springboks to get a chance in a lineup for 2024. No one else is building that kind of depth that Rassi has been. So we'll have to wait and see whether it pays off here. Wilco Lowe, he's a fantastic player, hugely experienced, so I think it is going to be the right decision to chuck him in the starting side and then have Vincent Koch making his way off of the bench. But looking back at the chat for a little while, I couldn't quite reach my drink bottle, but we got it now. And disappointed Villy isn't getting a century of caps yet, says Boy 10. Yeah, well, that's the thing. If he wanted to get the century, like, he needed Rassi to play him in this game and then also the next game as well. So the fact that he's not there, it's unfortunate, but then it also means, like, I would assume that Rassi's going to select him next year as well, which I know splits opinion. Some people don't want to see him there, but I think he had a fantastic game last week up against the Scottish. In fact, I think he was one of the best out there on the field. This will be the biggest upset for the year, says Martin. I think we already had a bigger upset last week, though, which was Australia beating England. And that was about a $5 something underdog, whereas England only $3.50 underdogs here. So they are given a bit of a chance at Twickenham. And Villy is the best fullback we've had, says Sandor. That Springbok pack is a scary thing to read, says Adam. Yeah, it's a stacked side from start to finish, which is exactly why England need to muscle up early, because with the fact that both of these sides have gone with the 5-3 split, it then means that, you know, there won't be that massive wave of physicality later on in the game. So it could just come down to who has the better stamina. Going for $12 for England to win, says a Martin in there. Is it? I'm not sure who your bookie is, but for us here in New Zealand, England are only 3.10 underdogs. So, yeah, wherever that is, they really don't think England's going to win. How long till the national anthems? National anthems, I would say, will be about 20 minutes away, somewhere around there. So we are getting extremely close to the start of this game. The Springboks warming up out there on the field in their huddles, getting everything worked out and getting everything ready to go for what will be a massive clash in the rugby world. But I mentioned about the benches just before. Both sides opting for the 5-3 splits in this matchup for the South Africans. It is Malcolm Marx, Gerhard Stennekamp and Vincent Koch at number 18. Now, Malcolm Marx certainly is an X-factor player. When he makes his way off the bench, the rolling maul tries normally become more prominent. The turnovers and the breakdown for him in particular haven't been as on show as they normally are throughout 2024. But he's still one of those guys that if it came down to an important moment, he certainly could get that bit of a breakthrough. Eldrick Lowe at number 19, seeing as they do have lock cover in the starting lineup, and Quagga Smith at number 20. And we've talked about it the whole way through. The versatility that Rassi Erasmus has not just had, but also been able to build. He's got players who play multiple positions and guys that can cover upwards of 3 or 4, which then means that he can afford to make these switches off the bench and still be confident that they've got enough cover later on. Now, the concern would be if we see 2 injuries here for the Boks, maybe one in the locks and then Peter Steph Toy goes down, then you're in that scenario of maybe being a little bit light. But Quagga Smith at number 20, he covers, of course, a lot of positions as well. Kobus Reinach, number 21, Hondre Pollard, 22, and Lukanyawam at number 23 for the English. Luke Cowan, Dickie Finn Baxter, and Dan Cole at number 18, Nick Ezekwe and Alex Dombrand as the other 2 forward replacements. Then Harry Randall, Ford, and Roebuck, the 3 other English players in the starting side. But looking back through at the chat one moment, I am about to sneeze, so I will very quickly mute myself. We are good. That is the one problem with the timing of these games. The New Zealand hay fever in the morning does still kick in. I'm so excited to see our front row packed down today. Wilco, Ox and Bongi, says Boy 10. Yeah, it's just awesome to see that no matter what game is in front of them and no matter who it's going to be that the Springboks have to play, they are still able to make those changes. And it's something that a lot of other sides aren't willing to try. I mean, we saw it maybe backfire in that game up against the Argentines in the Rugby Championship, but that is the only game this year, I believe, that the Springboks, other than the July internationals. But other than that game, they've been really good at making those switches and still getting themselves victories. An Ox to get player of the year, says Sandor. I really hope he gets it. The thing is, though, there's a chance that Peter Steph-Toy, his teammate, will take it off him, because Peter Steph-Toy all throughout 2024 has been immense. Ox Nishe, I think for a prop, we have never seen a prop get so close to player of the year, though. And what he does out there on the field is sometimes underappreciated. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to at least see him get nominated. And I have a bad feeling that the way that World Rugby is, he probably won't. But he's the one who's probably won it in a lot of people's hearts anyway. Big Ox Nishe. How's it? Not sure why I'm feeling nervous about this game. Hopefully it's a good one. No cards or controversial calls. Well, we might get both. Unfortunately, it is just the way that the refereeing has been throughout these November internationals. You never know what you're going to get until you take to the field. So, yeah, I wouldn't guarantee we're not going to see any cards in this one. Hello there, Hamish. How you doing, mate? Says Springbok Replay Zone. Doing very well, mate. Hope you are excited for this game. We are less than 25 minutes away from the kickoff, and Robert is here in the chat as well. But looking through, like I said earlier on, at what these two sides have done in November. The Springboks, they have only had one game. That was up against Scotland last week. They conceded 15 points, but none of which coming from tries. So 2 games in a row, the Scottish are unable to score a try up against the Springboks. But the Springboks getting 32 points. Some very nice, well-worked tries from that game. And a lot of the men who scored those tries are not playing now in this contest. And that is just down to the rotation that we see on a regular basis from Rassie Erasmus in the English side of things. They have lost both of their games in the November internationals by a thin margin, less than 7. But as I showed earlier on, with the exception of one 9-point game up against the Scottish and also a big win for the English over the Japanese, of their last 10 games or so, only 2 of them have been split by more than 7 points. So that tells us that this is either going to be a similar scenario to this, and the English can either just get over the line or once again just miss out. But there's also a chance that the Springboks come out firing. My prediction for this game was 24-19, but if South Africa and Mani Libok can really get going early here, we could see an even higher score than that one that I did just mention. We have got there, the Boks don't win all their games. Boks isn't playing, says Sandor, and more than 1 point, says Marty in there. And the escort law concerns me. Attacking teams are going to exploit it to draw penalties. It's a tricky one, isn't it? We've seen a few of the interesting laws more policed throughout November, including that one where it comes to chasing after the kick. Like, it is a tricky scenario, but hopefully it is at least fair. In this game, my tattoo artist, whom is also my girlfriend, is more than happy to give you a small tattoo for free, as long as it's a name she feels Chloe will suit you well, says Christopher DeVette. I assume she's based out of South Africa, though, Christopher. So I guess I'd have to be in South Africa possibly for that to happen. I don't know about the name Chloe, just because Chloe's in the chat sometimes. I don't know whether I should get that tattooed on my body. Imagine that. Imagine how many names I would have to get tattooed on me if I got every single person who's commented their name on me. I would just be covered in words, which would be very hard to read. We have got there, South Africa lost to Argentina. In Ireland this year, they are not unstoppable. That is true. But it's just one of those ones that you cannot underestimate the world champs. Because that's the thing. The Springboks, even with their winning record that they've had recently, people still do say that maybe they aren't quite at their peak. And that is a scary thing, because once they reach that peak, if this isn't already the Springboks at some of their best, like they've already got 2 back-to-back world championships under their belt, what is the next level for them? And I think Rassie is still trying to really find that, and he's starting to with all these changes. We have good there, just put a Springbok tattoo on your arm, mate. Says Springbok Replay Zone and all dressed up today, mate. Says Dennis, we got 2 massive games, so I decided to wear the suit for these 2. Boks by 7, aside from scrum time and defensive details. I think these teams are evenly matched. That's why Rassie isn't goofing off, and he picked Argea and Emin to start. Says Boy 10, I know my word, poor tattooed Hamish, the mind boggles. Says Jane. And we have got there, and the chat as well, I'm worried for the Boks today, says Salah. And also we better play our lineouts better. Well, that's the thing, like lineout time in this game, I think is going to be heavily contested because you've got Eben Etzebeth on one side and Arge Snyman, who are both brilliant at being able to get those line-out steals. I mean, we saw it just last week with Etzebeth being able to get one at a very important time. And then you've got on the other side of things, George Martin, who's not really known for his line-out steals, but then you've got Maro Itoje, who is one of the best at getting that ball from the opposition. So Umbanambi, he's going to be under a lot of pressure early on in this game and really has to make sure he handles it well and doesn't get too caught up in that kind of line-out defense. Because if he does, then we could see a lot of loose ball. And then, to be honest, I think a loose ball in this game does favour South Africa. Even though England, of course, have some quick players in their back line with Ollie Slate home, I think he could be a bit of an X-factor out on the wing here. But I do think that a loose ball with the back three that the Springboks have of Arendse, Kolbe and Fassi, that is where they are the most dangerous. What time does the match start? South African time. So South African time, it does start at 7:40 p.m. So in about 20 minutes time is when this match will be kicking off. We have got there, how close was that Argentina-Ireland game? I was looking so forward to the Argies beating the Irish. Says Springbok replay zone. Yeah, it was extremely close between those two teams. Could have easily gone either way, but in the end, Ireland were able to hang on. They managed to do very well in the important moments. Plus, Argentina, their decision-making at times just wasn't quite the best. I still say it, and I know it may not have changed the outcome of the game, but when Ireland were down to 14 and Argentina had a kick relatively close to the post, they decided to take it rather than going for the corner or trying to go for the scrum, seeing as there was a man down on the other side. I just think it would have been much more beneficial for them to score a try there rather than taking the three, because then after that they tried a drop kick and they missed it. Even if it went over, it would have still been even on the score sheet. What was the Scotland-Portugal score? The last I saw it, Scotland were ahead by about 30, so I'm not too sure whether or not they got another one near the end. I think Portugal may have scored late from the sounds of the chat, but yeah, overall, it was a bit one-sided, unfortunately. We've got there will be 10,000 kicks in this game, says Octodad. Maybe. But then the thing is, throughout that Rugby World Cup, something that not many people know is the Springboks, as much as they get a reputation of kicking the ball, they weren't actually in the top two when it came to the most significant numbers when it came to kicking. New Zealand were actually up there with England. So if this game was New Zealand-England, we might have seen more kicks. And there I see that Wilco Lowe's got himself a brand new Springbok picture, which is great to see as well. We have got there, I hope to see some great running rugby tonight in Cape Town. So here's Justine. And we have got there in the chat, if the Boks lose today, then we'll change my name to Wars. I'm sure plenty of people have got the braais going as well for this matchup. Definitely with a nice evening kickoff for you guys in South Africa. 50-something for the Scots and 20-something for Portugal. And the fact that Argentina was close to beat Ireland pretty much shows that New Zealand had an easy game against Ireland last week. Says Martin. And we have got there Scotland 59, Portugal 21. Oh, geez, so Scotland kept on going. The sounds of that with Labok. It's a running game, putting East Asian for the battering ram effect. Says Malcolm. Yeah, although Damien de Allende still does give the Springboks that option in terms of being able to crash the ball forward. Which is a bit sensitive about his half bend. Just trying to help out. Says Grant, and Labok versus Smith is tasty. It is definitely one of those head-to-heads that we don't get to see very often, but when it does happen, there's going to be fireworks. And Nokia off the bench. Quagga jumping at 6. Says Adam. So off the bench, they have got Eldrick Lowe as the number 19. They don't actually have a specialist lock off their bench here, the Springboks, going with that 5-3. And Nokia also taken out of the side for Jean Klein a little bit earlier on, about a week and a bit ago. That was due to an injury. So, yeah, he won't be there, which is a massive shame because he was certainly right up there in terms of one of the best players for the Springboks throughout the Rugby Championship. But these are the benches that the two sides have gone with, the Springboks opting for 3 replacement backs of Kobus Reinach, Hondre Pollard, and then also Lukanya Wam in that number 23 jersey. For the English, they have gone 5-3 also with Dombrand versus Quagga Smith, one of those must-see later on in the game. But now we are only 15 minutes from the kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. We are extremely close, and it isn't just this game that has taken place today. Straight after this one, it is New Zealand versus France. Doesn't get much bigger than these two matches happening back-to-back, and one of which, that rematch of a semi-final in the World Cup. 1 point difference between England and South Africa in that match. Both of these sides, I think, have learnt a lot since then. Since that game, the Springboks have gone on to not just win a World Cup, but also the Rugby Championship alongside it. Low as a fair shout, says Adam there. And 32-18 for the Springbok. And what time does the game start? The game starts in 15 minutes. So we are probably only about 5 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer, from the two sides making their way onto the field, having the national anthems, and then we are underway for what will be a very entertaining game. Pieter-Steph du Toit will probably be moved to lock to finish the game. He has to be the player of the year, says Boy 10. And yeah, the fact that he's got so much versatility, Pieter-Steph du Toit, he just makes it so much easier for Rassie Erasmus to be able to select who he feels is best in each position. Because in this situation, you've got Arge Snyman in the starting lineup alongside Etzebeth. He had the option of Mostert to come off the bench, but maybe just not quite finding his feet after last week's game up against Scotland. We've got to remember that was his first game back in quite a significant layoff that he did have. I was wondering what they were doing to Jean Klein on the ground there, but they were having him as the base of the breakdown. The Springboks still warming up out there on the field. Of course, just showing off that pace there as Grant Williams, his cover defence, could be key in this game alongside Chisel and Kolbe. I quite like the way that they're doing this at the moment. They've got the whole bench working together, and then they have got the starting lineup defending them. So just trying to get that chemistry going early. Sia Khaleesi, we can see he's the main man talking out there on the field. Is it raining? It doesn't look like it from the angle that we can see as Sia Khaleesi, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a few spots around. At the end of the day, it is English weather. It's extremely unpredictable. England can never be underestimated, says Stefan. Exactly right. They've had a lot of close games over the last 10 matches. I believe only 2 have been separated by more than 7. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And thanks, Christopher. Tell your girlfriend I trust her, says Chloe. And 33-16 to South Africa, says David there. And South Africa for the win, says Villy. So we are getting up to that stage, of course, with only 13 minutes to go before the kickoff. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think will score the first try in this matchup? Is it going to be a Springbok? And if so, which player are you backing to do so? Someone already predicted Umbanambi to be able to score the first try of this match, or Chisel and Kolbe. I think that it's going to be a tricky one to choose, though, because I feel like Jesse Kriel is coming to mind, to be honest, in terms of the chance of the first try in this match. And Hamish, would you rather watch a tree grow or interesting question, smoking RSA every day? I actually have a lemon tree that's growing very well at the moment, which is not what you probably wanted to hear, but I'm not sure why it's growing well, because it doesn't really get enough attention as a lemon tree should get. In the Australia game on defence, Lawrence played inside centre and Slade played outside, says Ewan, and I think that's exactly what they need to do, because Ollie Lawrence has to be marking up with Damien Dealindi. That is the only way that they can stop him in that midfield combo, because Dealindi versus Henry Slade, I think, is just too easy for Dealindi. And that sounds like it's a bit too much of maybe confidence, but it's just one of those ones that you can't afford to allow Dealindi early running meters. Yet Rain will F us up, says Brennan Williams there, and go Jesse Kriel, says Erica. And poor England in the scrums try will be fussy, says Ronnie, as the first man to score. TMO will interfere at some point and annoy everyone, says Cited. I mean, that's just a guarantee at this stage in the world of rugby, that the TMO will be there at some point, sitting around waiting for you. Just another lemon tree, and I wonder, says Adam there. And Colby first try, says Marion. And there as well, an Eben first try. Oh, I think that's the first time we've seen him as the first try scorer. We also saw Oxnard a little bit earlier on for Chad's prediction. And Colby's there from Blues Nate as well. Where's Plummer? Injured at the moment for Harry Plummer, but only 11 minutes away from the start of this contest, ladies and gents. We are getting very close to the two sides making their way out onto the field. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to leave a like on this live stream. We are currently sitting on the total of, we've got 156 likes and we've got 1,400 people watching. So let's push for, let's go 300 likes by the start of this game. In fact, I think we could even go higher, but we will start with 300 and then we'll build upon it from there. So anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button on this live stream. It is very greatly appreciated. Romania 30, Canada 27 still being played, so a close game between those two sides. What's your prediction between the ABs and France? We did give it on the All Blacks preview that we did end up doing. But I did actually go bold, and I said that New Zealand would be able to win by a decent margin, but whether or not that happens could be a completely different story. Now, this game, of course, do let me know your predictions for the contest as well. I did go the Springboks by 5, but if they come out firing, maybe they'll be able to score more than the 24 points that I did back them to do. What are the odds? Does anyone know? I got a funny feeling about this. So the odds for this game, England come in as $3.10 underdogs here in New Zealand, which honestly isn't that much. Like last week, Scotland were actually, I believe, less of an underdog up against the South Africans. So it tells you that England are considered, yes, the underdog, but maybe, just maybe, they can try and pull off something here. The last time these two sides played, it was only separated by 1 point. But the Springboks, a very different side here compared to what we saw in that last match, making 12 changes compared to what they had between the Scotland and South Africa game just last week. Rassi going from a 7-1 split to a 5-3 split. The man loves to make changes, and a lot of them work in their favour. A rugby championship under the belt, a back-to-back World Cup in there as well. Arge with the first try, says TJ there. And Kiwi lads, All Blacks is the underdog compared to France. What are your thoughts here? I can understand it. At the end of the day, playing at the Stade de France is a hard day at the office for any side. And I can see why they are the underdogs. But I do hope that with the little bit of extra game time that they've had, that might be hugely beneficial. And that is something that England will be working on here. The fact that they have had just a little bit more time together in terms of out there on the field. But too narrow margins does hurt the confidence quite a bit. Colby to start everything, go the Bok, says Quinton there. And representing the blind here, looking forward to some colourful commentary, says Tar and there as well. But yeah, it's greatly appreciated you all being here. We're up to 1,700 people in attendance for this one now, which is absolutely massive. Are we at halftime? We are not. We are at the start of the game almost. 9 minutes remaining till the kickoff. Both sides are just about to make their way onto the field. And when they do, of course, the atmosphere is just going to build more and more. And yep, Cheslin first try, says Laura. And Boks by 20. Alice Gen's red card. And we've got a donation from Unholy Monk in there as well. Thank you very much for your generosity, mate. It is greatly appreciated. What about 53-3 for England? If that happens, if England win this game by 50, I will shave my beard. Like, I feel like, the thing is though, like, it won't happen because, of course, we've seen two massive performances from the Springboks when it comes to their defence, but even a win by 10 points would be huge for England here. But that's the thing, they can't think of it as we have to win this game by a massive margin. They just have to win. Like, that's all they need. And the fact that they've been so close so many times, starting to really frustrate this England side. You can see it in the post-match interviews that they've had. They've said many times, like, we should have won that one. But South Africa, they know how to win games by that thin margin, and they have been brilliant. Normally, from start to finish, that game up against Scotland last week, there were a few errors, and they still scored 30-plus points. So if you can play badly and win a game comfortably, it just shows what kind of side they are, and that is a world-class team for the South African outfit. They'll be looking to really make a statement here at Twickenham as well. And 29-19 to the Bok, says Shaz. And we have got there the best England pick England made. And this game was Marnie Libok, says DSC. Fussy for the first try, says Joe. Can I watch live stream through your channel, Amish? Says Reiko. Unfortunately, there will be no options for watching it on YouTube. Anything that tries to show it will get taken down pretty much instantly, so it is a massive shame. But we are going to be doing the play-by-play commentary all throughout the game, letting you know who are the try scorers. Are you doing All Blacks versus France? We certainly are. Argentina actually beat Ireland. The ref was so unfair and one-sided, says Andre G. And I know there's a Welsh ref, says cited in there as well. Of course, South Africa going to be taking on the Welsh next week. England, they have got one more game of their November internationals. They will be playing the Japanese. That has taken place at 5:10 a.m. New Zealand time, but that is a 6:10 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. Then Wales versus South Africa. That is also next week. That is a Sunday 7:40 p.m. kickoff in South Africa. But we are very close to the start of this game now, ladies and gentlemen. The two teams are in the tunnel. Oxnachet, Sia Khaleesi, and Bongi Umbanambi all singing Jamie George, razor focused at the front of the English line. But this game, it's going to have a big match feel. The national anthems are going to be electric. What's your prediction, Amish? I've gone 24-19 in favour of the South Africans. We have their wise at knowing how to win when it's Boks by a point, but lucky cheats when it's Ireland. Says Jimbo there, and go the bookie, or go the Bockie, I should say there. And watch how they bugger up the anthem now, says Sidon. I mean, to be fair, when Ireland played New Zealand only got half their anthem, so perhaps they're only going to get the first half of South Africa's here. Hopefully not, though. How's the crowd, Hamish? It is full. It is sold out for this game at Twickenham Stadium. They call it Allianz now, but I'm still calling it Twickenham. Everyone knows it is Twickenham. Do you think Kolbe might be doing the kicking, says Lilia B? I'm very curious to know whether or not they go with Kolbe from the very get-go. If the kicking tee isn't working, whether there's going to be one for Manie Libbok. But that's the thing, like, Libbok's kicking in the big games has been a little bit shaky, but the amount of tries that he sets up for the team, I know it doesn't make up for it hugely, but it still makes up for it, I believe, quite a bit. I still call it Port Elizabeth, says Yonka. I mean, there's certain stadiums in South Africa. Like, I'm not calling Ellis Park Emirates Airline Stadium Park or whatever they want to call it now. Like, I just go Ellis Park and everyone knows who we're talking about. But we have got the national anthems now. So we will go like this. And this is the English lineup, ladies and gentlemen, for this match. Ellis Genge, Jamie George and Will Stewart in the front row. Maro Itoje and George Martin as the locking duo here. Chandler Cutting himself at 6. Sam Underhill moves into 7 due to the Tom Curry injury last week, and Ben Earl as the number 8. Jack Van Porfia into the starting side, partnered with Marcus Smith, who could be the X factor that the English need. And this matchup, Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence in the midfield combo. Slate Home at number 11, Tommy Freeman at number 14, and Freddie Stewart for Furbank. I think this is a good choice, seeing as he is normally very strong under the high ball, which we could see quite a bit of from the Springboks. And this game for the English, for the South Africans, in their starting lineup, Oxnasham, Bongi Omanambi, and Wilco Lowe. Wilco Lowe becoming the 50th Springbok to get an opportunity throughout 2024. No other side has tried 50 players this year, let alone had 50 world-class guys that could take on the lineup each and every week. Eben Etzebeth and Argas Neyman, for the first time ever, will be partnering in the locking starting duo. Sia Khaleesi at 6, Peter Steptotoy and Jesper Visser, all a part of the 7-1 split last week, coming off the bench, now get the chance to start up against the English. Into the starting backline, it is Grant Williams at number 9, Manie Libbok at 10. What type of game is he going to have? No one really knows, but I feel like it's going to be entertaining. See how he goes. In this match, Dialendi and Jesse Creel will be the midfield combo. Kurtley Arendse, Cheslin Kolbe, and Apelele Farsi as the back 3. So a stacked Springbok side, 12 changes compared to what we saw in the last week's game. And the English, they've made their own fair share of changes, but nowhere near as many for this matchup. But we have got God Save the King as being sung, which is normally a pretty short anthem. And then we are straight into the starting lineup. Or starting match, I guess you could say. This is going to be quick and running rugby. Watch out all, said Roderick and Arga and Eben. Our bomb duo, says Shaz. And yeah, they've gone with a 5-3 split off the bench, I should mention here, for the Springboks. So not quite as stacked in terms of the forwards as we saw last week. But that does not mean that we will not see a lot of impact coming from those 5 forwards. Your gameplay clock is still stuck at 6:40. That is because that is the kickoff time here in New Zealand, as it is 6:40 a.m. here in New Zealand when it does kick off, which is 2 minutes time. And then partnered with that, we are also going to see the 80 minutes of rugby. 9:10 is when the game between New Zealand and France is starting, is what I was going to say before I got distracted by the national anthems coming to a close. But it's going to be awesome. We are very close to the start of this game. They are just showing the starting lineups yet again. These two sides looking razor focused, ready to go. Slate Home at 11. I think he could be a bit of X factor in this game, really having a great impact off the bench when he kept making his way out there due to injuries when we did see it last week. No rain, maybe a little juice, and no excuses we want running rugby. And I feel like that's something that Manie Libbok will offer here for the Springboks, because he has got just a really good ability of finding gaps, helping Dialendi through. I think we're going to see it quite a bit in this matchup. A red card for a Romanian player there. And Libbok to shock everyone with the first try of the match. Says True Finder, and can we see the game here? Sadly, on YouTube, you won't be able to find the game, and if you do, it will get taken down pretty much straight away afterwards. So, sadly, YouTube-wise, they are very strict with the copyright, but we will be doing the play-by-play commentary all throughout this game. So, if you can't find anywhere else that is actually showing the game, be sure to pop in and have a chat all about it. But it is going to be the English kicking off this game, ladies and gentlemen. And go for it, Fussy, such an awesome player. Yeah, he's come a long way over just the last 2 years. And Rassi, he's one of those guys that he's been a Rassi guy, like in terms of backing him from pretty much the get-go. But England have now just kicked off, ladies and gentlemen, and we are now underway for this match between the Springboks and the English. Grant Williams has been told to use it. We'll quickly adjust the volume. There we go. We're all good. Maro Itoje trying to charge it down, wasn't quite able to do so. Kick downfield, and Freddie Stewart takes it nicely. Mentioned about how he was one of those keys under the high ball for England. They are 40 metres from their own line. They're being told to use it. The ref, oh, a little bit of a juggle with the ball there. But Jack Van Porfleet has done very well to pick it back up and keep it on the side of England. Ben Earl goes across there to Maro Itoje. In fact, this time it's going to be George Martin, his locking partner. Again told to use it. Kicking it to the sky, getting a lot cleaner clearance this time. Hanging in the breeze. England slap it back onto their side. Another drop ball. It's gone backwards and stolen in the breakdown. But first there was a knock on from South Africa. So we will get to see the first scrum of the match. That's big Jesper Visa who managed to get the clean steal. But Freddie Stewart taking it well. Ooh. From that angle, it looked like he was going to kick Colby in the face, but then the leg did come down. You got to be very careful with that extended foot when it comes to that ball in the air. The kit is a horrible design. Says Saiton, where can I watch the game? If you're in South Africa, it is on Super Sport. If you're in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport. It's also on the TAB here in New Zealand, though, so it is actually free to air in that regard, but you do have to have a New Zealand TAB account. The first scrum of the game, we're only 100 seconds in. Pack weight's 934 for England, but an extra 12 or 14 kg advantage, in fact, for South Africa, and it was a big scrum from the Bok. England now charging forward. Jack Van Porfleet goes across to Marcus Smith with the first cross kick of the day. It only took 2 minutes. Grubbed in behind by Ollie Slate-Home. Springboks inside of their 22. Kolbe has to run towards the touchline, kicks it out. And he hasn't got a huge amount of distance on it. Means now 15 metres out from the line, the English will have themselves the line out. So a quick pace start to this matchup. Use it, we heard that a lot against Scotland. Says Shaz thrown in over the top. Nicely taken by Earl, who's smashed by Khaleesi, but the ball goes backwards when it does go and break free. Now Ellis Genge, still only 15 metres out from the line. Adres Neyman makes the tackle, of course, starting in this game with Eben Etzebeth for the first time ever. Wide cutout pass from Marcus Smith, finds Slate-Home. Scramble defence. Missed tackle from Williams. Some big physicality early on, though, between these two teams. Another big shot on Maro Itoje. Counter-ruck from Pieter-Steph du Toit, but is unsuccessful. 7 phases in already for the English. Good discipline from South Africa to give away a penalty. Oh, they look for the drop kick there, or at least set up for one. Now Marcus Smith showing his pace to the short side. Great hands from England, and they'll score in the 3rd minute. Ollie Slate-Home gets the job done for the English. Marcus Smith, he set up as if he was going to kick it, just like they tried a few times last week, but this time he ran the ball. The Springboks caught off guard, and the first try of the match goes to Ollie Slate-Home, who is in some brilliant try-scoring form over the last little while. Slate-Home scoring in the 3rd minute. That is the dream start for the English, that is for sure. There we go. Have put it down the bottom, but great attack and run from Marcus Smith. Love it. Says Graggle there. That is incredible. Romania 35, Canada 27. And Marcus Smith says Blues Nate. Just great pace shown. Oxnard not able to get across. And Cheslin Colby, not his best defensive work there. Just got caught out on the wing. Only 10 seconds left of the shot clock too, so they better take this kick relatively quickly. And there is, I thought there was actually anger, but it was actually the English coaches who is slamming the desk. Smith has got the kick over, and now the score 7-0 in favour of England. They're confused about rugby too. Upset is coming, boys, says Martin N. And tries coming, plenty of them. As Springboks, we come the whole day, says Damien. Yeah, it's not the first time that South Africa have conceded a try early, and it's one of those things that they've won a majority of the games that they do so. Embarrassing for South Africa to concede a try to one of the weaker teams, England, says Stephen. Welcome back, Stephen. You're here every week talking your smack about England, aren't you? 5 minutes into the game now, and all well claimed by South Africa. Peter Steph the toy slaps it back onto the side where Arges Neyman was waiting for it. Williams knock on in the breakdown. No, referee says it's... Oh, no, now he said it's a knock on. It is now going to be the scrum for the English. 2 more quick tries, says Leon. And also we have got their 7-0 already. Wow, says Xander. Yeah, great start to the match by England. Pretty much their first real attacking chance. And Marcus Smith helping in that regard. Because, like, that's the thing. He first did the cross kick. Then there was the grubber in behind. And it just all set up to get them in the perfect position on the field to be able to then really thrive. Early on, I never really think of Marcus Smith being that fast. Well, he really shows that pace, does he? He kind of sits in that 10 pocket, and then sometimes we'll have a couple bursts of a bit of speed. But then, yeah, in terms of like pure pace there, although he was racing with Oxnashare as well, so I feel like that does help a little bit. You're a good commentator, mate, says Spike. Thank you very much. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now another scrum here. Jack Van Poorvliet will feed the ball in. About 35 metres out from the English line. They all stood off Smith, need to target him, says Jimbo. Now ball being fed in. And the scrum, once again, the Springboks get that good push, but the ball has popped out the back for Ben Earl. So I think we've already learnt that England cannot afford to leave that ball in the scrum for any longer than half a second. Another hit up there from England, moving up to the 40-metre line. Jack Van Poorvliet will roll it back. He's been told to use it again. That one's gone extremely high. Down towards the halfway line, slapped back by Upper Lelefasi, knocked on by Mani Libok. But I think the first knock on was from England, although I don't think they're going to call for it. Marcus Smith now looking for the 50-22. Cheslin Kolbe has to get back, and he is there. And now once again, not his best clearing kick, only just getting it outside of the 22. That's 2 poor kicks from Colby in a row. I don't think we've ever seen that from that man. And here come the Boks, says Red Hat there. The world best will come back, says Damien. As South African rugby can't get worse than our cricket at least, says Xander. Now Jamie George with the line out throw. This one will be 25 metres out from the line. A 3-man line out. Going up and Arges Neyman steals it and offloads to It's a biff. Jeez, he's been hit hard in the spine by Jamie George. Now Snyman again gets the offload. Bit of a miscommunication between Umbanambi and Vesa, but they hang on to it. And that is the risk of going with a 3-man line out when you've got Arges Neyman as one of the two going up for a Mani Libok's kick has gone sideways and almost backwards, but it's knocked on by Henry Slade. So it will be the Springbok scrum beat. And this is where the danger is for England. If South Africa can get a few early scrum dominating moments, perhaps we could see them get a warning. You're so quick to turn on your soldiers, says Adam there. And go the Bockies, crush them, says Terry. Already 8 minutes into this game. We're already a tenth of the way through it. The Boks look nervous? I don't think so. I think they look a little bit... I want to say... like they seem to be struggling a little bit in terms of the chemistry just for now, but then that always happens when you have so many changes in a starting lineup. It normally only takes them 10 minutes, then they're good. So I think that we'll slowly see them start to find their rhythm here. They just need a bit of ball in hand. At the end of the day, England have had a bit more of the possession early. You show the game. Sadly, due to broadcasting restrictions, any match footage or anything shown would get us taken straight off YouTube for 3 months. Unfortunately, but we will be doing the play-by-play, including the scrum has just gone down. Grant Williams goes to the short side and does kick that one downfield. Well picked up by Freddie Stewart, who was 40 metres from his line, goes again with the up and under. Now, Scotland didn't go for that aerial battle very often, whereas the English are willing to take it on, although this time there has been a little knock-on the ground, and the penalty goes the way Okay, so the penalty is going the way of South Africa. He dropped the ball and then he ended up playing it on the ground. Trust the process. So here's Adam. We have good there. I really admire and appreciate how you correctly pronounce the South African names. So here's Yandre there. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, or else that would be a bit unfortunate. But yeah, hopefully we weren't a mile off with the pronunciation. I think that's just from doing all the URC. We used to do the Curry Cup on the channel as well till they stopped showing it here in New Zealand, which was a massive shame. So I spent quite a bit of time with South African names. But Mani Libok, he will be kicking this one to the touchline, or at least trying to do so. The Springboks need this to go out, and it has done just that. They'll be about 40 metres out. I watched Jake Paul and Iron Mike. Tyson too old, no power like he used to. Well, he still had power in round one, to be fair, but I think a lot of people wanted something to happen in that fight that just wasn't realistically going to. He was always going to slow down. Sadly, Grant Williams now goes back across to Peter Steftatoi. Now 40 metres from the line, Williams really having to work hard to get that ball out the back. Big shot on Eben Etzebeth. They seem to be targeting him at the moment, and not many sides would decide that Eben Etzebeth is the one that they want to try and put the big hits into. As your Ty Green, can't see it on the screen. It is blue for this one, but it is going to be kicked high now from Mani Libok, the up and under. Well claimed by Kurt Liarense. Actually pushed into that challenge by Peter Steftatoi. Probably lucky not to get penalised for it. On the short side now, Arges Neyman goes across to Apalele Fasi, bit isolated. Near the touchline, Grant Williams pierces through. Dangerous ball runner, sells everyone the wrong way, and Williams scores the try. And that is the X factor, that Williams is the pace that he can bring around the side of the breakdown. Normally gets to be the super sub, but in this case gets to be the super starter in his fourth international try. And the Springboks now will be back to a level playing field. It just goes through. Poor English defence. Getting sold the wrong way there, Freddie Stewart. And just straight through the defensive line. The pick and go of beauty there for Williams. And they just couldn't stop him. That was some step in there. Evan will teach them a lesson soon, says Lilia B. And Kiwi now listening to you in Bolivia and supporting England for a change. Great commentary, mate. Says, John, thank you very much. How is Marnie's kicking? That one's gone over. Although, to be fair, if that one didn't, it was 10 metres out, straight out in front of the post. So, yeah, it has gone over for Mani Libok there. But just a great bit of work early from this South African side to be able to answer back after conceding straight away. We have got there Jaden and Williams. Williams should start every game. Well, that's the thing. For a lot of people, they still had Williams off their bench, and it can't be denied how much of an impact that man brings to a 6-2 split because of his versatility. But, Kobus Reinach, I could see being able to play on the wing as well with his pace. So maybe that's something to look at. That's going to be slapped back by England. A little bit scrappy here. Could have gone forward by either side, but I think it's going to be... Oh, kicked him behind by England by the looks of that. And now it is going to be South Africa who have got the line out. And good for you, Marnie, says Shaz. So grateful for you, doing a good job, says Carol Ann. Thank you very much, greatly appreciated. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, Umbanambi, 10 metres from his own goal line. Okay, I think there was a bit of confusion about numbers in the line out. And Williams lightning fast. Umbanambi is not happy with the gap. Oh, and they've just been warned there with the gap. Although I'd assume that it would be the same case for South Africa in this one too, but well claimed by Wilco Lowe. On that ball getting slapped back. And game on, lad, says Blues Nate. Now kick downfield towards the touchline. Doesn't manage to find touch though. And a bit of a loose ball. England do well to re-get it. That was Ollie Slater. Now Freddie Stewart running straight almost through. But a great last-ditch tackle from Oxnishare, the big man. Now Alice Genge, the big man for England. Around the side, Jesper Wiese. I think they've called it as out. Yes, they have. And now two more. Springbok get into the breakdown, looking for the turnover, but now losing their feet. Great to have your commentary here in South Sudan, mate. Says Brian, and thank you very much for being here. They look away to the left-hand side now, England, with Maro Itoje, Peter Steftatoi, wants that turnover, and he's done it. Gone over the top, although now given as a penalty. Second go at the ball, I've said. I missed your prediction, Hamish. I went 24-19 in favour of South Africa. But honestly, it could be a higher scoring one than that if both sides score as freely as they did in the first 15. We have the old saying, Hammy, if you sneeze, something good come your way. Well, I sneeze a lot, so hopefully that is the case. Shot is called by England. They are willing to take on the 3 here, just to take that lead back. And Reddish Blue said, love your passion. And Allure Bleu says seasoned in there as well. 14 and a half minutes in this game has already passed. Marcus Smith to line up this kick. It is 42 metres out, so it's definitely within his distance. Who scored for South Africa? It was Grant Williams in the 11th minute. Has the game started? Yes, it has started 15 minutes ago. And go the Boks, says Nell there. And Ew says seasoned. And we have got there anyone but South Africa for me, says Rory. 20 seconds left on the shot clock here for Marcus Smith. And almost late. Good evening, everyone, says Lorenzo. Smith strikes it well, and that one will go over. So that now makes the score 10 points to 7 in favour of the English. They have taken the lead back by the 3. And go the Boks, says Kayla there. And 6:56 a.m. here, New Zealand time, says Spider-Mink. It certainly is, which means we are only 2 hours or so away from the next game that has taken place, which will be New Zealand versus France. We've got a new channel member as well from John. Thank you very much. You now have access to those emojis on the channel. They are great. Oh, the South African names, well done, says Carol Ann. Thank you very much. Oh, slapped back by England into the hands of Ben Earl. 30 metres from their line, about maybe 20 from the sideline on the far side. Charge down by Eben Etzebeth. Oh, Smith is there though. A charge down again by the South Africans, and it's the try for Peter Steph du Toit, the double charge down. And the 2 big men get the job done for the South Africans. That is some brilliant work, not just from Eben Etzebeth to charge it down the first time, then du Toit said, you know what, that looks fun, I'll have a go at it. And now they have scored themselves their second try in quick succession here for the Springboks, but Eben slaps that ball down. I thought Smith did well to get there and try and kick it away, and then Peter Steph du Toit has the crack and gets it as well. I think they might just be checking the grounding here. That's fine. He's got that one over. Sayanda has become a channel member as well. Thank you very much. You now have access to those emojis that you have seen going through the chat. And WGF Bro, high scoring match, and this is the main event of the weekend. Says Eric J. And also we get that Peter Steph du Toit, says Shaz in the chat as well. Hi guys, says Marion. Welcome in. Marnie Libot from the touchline. Oh, it just didn't quite come back enough. It wasn't a bad strike. It just ended up hitting the post though. So that will keep the score at 12 points to 10. And even Etzebeth, just like a man possessed, charges forward. And then Marcus Smith, he thought that it was lucky that he was back there till he saw Peter Steph du Toit also looking to block it. Best commentary ever, says Judy. And thank you, Kiwi lads, following here from North Dakota in the USA, says Johan. Score wrong, says Reba. It's 12 to 10 after 17 minutes. So I'm not, like, which part of it is wrong? It is 10 to 7. It was until South Africa scored again. But now, going to be now in position for South Africa. Ball is stripped, but Argas Neyman now going to back his pace, the big man. He's got numbers on his outside, just can't quite get the offload until he hits the ground. Then Khaleesi gets another offload, a little bit high. Oh, it was on the shoulder, says Andrew Brace. And Peter Steph du Toit, your beauty, says Mark. Just load now, says Reba. As in, like, the try is loaded for you. But yes, Vavisa now going back across. Grant Williams to Andre Pollard. Damien Dealindi tries to get through one, but Slade has got him by the ankle. There's an advantage, though, in favour of the Boks. And go, says Lena. It is not 15 to 7 for South Africa, says Leon. The ball is still there and still advantage, I believe. Grant Williams slapping the hand of a player saying it's a infringement in the breakdown. Referee goes, that's your own guy. But they will go back for the original penalty, I believe. In favour of South Africa. Hi there. Hamish, we are listening to your commentary, says Sandy. Oh, yep, they're going back for that high tackle. The one that Brace initially said he thought was on the shoulder. They obviously have had another look at it and decided that it was that little bit too up. Yeah, it was high. To be fair, he got a bit of the ball as well, though, so he's slightly unlucky. And Boks is slapping that rosy cheeks. Says Springbok replay zone. And thanks for the great commentary, go the Boks, says Underhill. Looks like they're actually going to kick for the corner here for the Springboks. Our scrum looks mad AF, says Zender. Bok does get it into touch. This one will be about 15 metres out, and this will be our first chance to be able to see this rolling maul of the Springboks really in action. They're about 13 metres from the line, and Umbanambi getting ready to throw this ball in. It's been a pretty free-flowing game so far, though. We've had 20 minutes of rugby action in pretty much the 20 minutes since the game started. I don't think we've had many stoppages at all. Damien Dearlendi going to be tackled well. 10 metres from the line. Williams goes back across to the left-hand side now. Arges Neyman lurking around that breakdown. The man wants to get an offload if he can. Etzebeth gets it across to Neyman. Now in over the middle. Was he on his feet there? He's lost it now for Sam Underhill, but really trying hard to get that turnover. Etzebeth hit hard by Will Stewart. There's another advantage, and there was no clear release from the English. We have got there. These YouTube ads keep pissing me off. Looking for this game almost 30 minutes, and YouTube finds ways to mess it up. Ads after every 10 minutes, says Smart Bite. And there as well. Yeah, I think they're automated on streams, from what I know. Hopefully it's not too often that they're coming up. Hamish, just to let your name, says Spike. How'd you get on with the cricket yesterday? We actually won, surprisingly. First game of the season was the victory. Bongi Umanambi now, 6 metres out from the line. Chance here for the Bok to really, they've gone with the lift and then gone to the front to Arges Neyman, trying to get that ball transfer. Defended well by England, but for how long? As the Springboks are on the verge of getting themselves another. Peter Steftatoy wrestled down that ball, another advantage for offside. Peter Steftatoy getting his neck crunched there by Maro Itoje. Round the side again, Seal Khaleesi thought about reaching out. Grant Williams goes in behind Mani Libok with the cross kick. Cheslin Kolbe takes it, steps around Freddie Stewart and scores the try, the third of the match now for the Springboks. Mani Libok with the try assist. Oh, Maro Itoje, next one's a penalty I've just heard from the referee, but 22 minutes in, and the Springboks have already got themselves 3 tries. England scored first as well in this contest. Freddie Stewart, once again, defensively getting caught out. Armani is accurate. He hit the post dead centre, says you think. And show them Bok what a kick, Marnie. And nice work from Cheslin Kolbe as well here. Just that's really poor from Freddie Stewart. Just running across at full steam. All Cheslin did was this. And Freddie Stewart went straight past, flew around him. And then a nice easy run in for Cheslin Kolbe. A good kicker as long as it's not at the post. And that one has gone over from Mani Libok. So that now makes the score sitting now 19 points to 10. Isn't it simply beautiful to watch, says Lilia B. And Cheslin warmed up, says Jane. Yeah, this game's going to be a lot higher scoring than I predicted. I predicted 24 points to 19. That might be the score at halftime. That might even be the score after 30 minutes, the way that these two sides are going. They kicked off short by the English. And it's a good contest in the air, but it bounces onto the side of Sia Khaleesi and the Springboks. Nobody can catch Cheslin, says Gugu. How long time no see, missed the channel. When it's a new rugby game playthrough, says Decker. Hopefully when the Springboks and All Blacks are added to it, which might be next year early on. Oh, almost charged down there by Maro Itoje, but Williams sends it to the sky. Bounces back up for Rage Sneyman. Now back across Mani Libok. Finds Damien Dearlendi. The Springboks are really playing a fearless kind of game of rugby at the moment. Chucking it around all over. Mani Libok's injured. He has stayed down here and is very slow to get to his feet, although now he is back up and the penalty goes the way of England in the breakdown. We have got there was one sweet kick to Colby. Yeah, Colby didn't even really have to move. It went straight into the breadbasket. How did England get to 10? They managed to get themselves 3 points, and they also scored the early try of Ollie Slate home. This looks like an injury to maybe the shoulder or the neck of Marnie Libok. We have there Mike Tyson said he doesn't want to retire for good. So there might be a KP. What's a KP? And the green blood is pumping now, says Marius. Wait. Did Andrew Brace just say it was a neck roll, Eben? Because if it was a neck roll, then surely that's a penalty, is it not? Oh no, it's just the whiplash of getting smashed by Ollie Lawrence. It's just a big shot to the midsection. And Marnie Libok he didn't look happy about it. It might be a runaway game, says Tyrone. What do you think the final score will be? Well, my prediction at the start was 24-19, but it just doesn't look like that's going to be the case because that could be the halftime score. Now, Jack Van Porfliet goes across to George Martin, gets within 5 metres. England looking to strike back straight away here too. Off to Maro Atoje. He's picked up and dropped by the Bok defence. Oh, they setting up for a drop kick here? It looked like it for half a second. Marcus Smith was in the pocket. They decide against it in the end. It's probably the right decision when you're down by 9. Don't really want to be taking on those 3-pointers unless you absolutely have to. Nice step from Ben Earl. Great scramble defence coming from South Africa. Jack Van Porfliet goes off to Sam Underhill, who scores the try. It looked like it was almost held up for half a second, but Underhill gets in, and we've got another try in this match. It is just back and forth action between these two teams. I've always loved Marnie's game. He's always a threat. When it comes to the attack, way to go, Marnie. It's always Marnie first, then Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu, then Pollard, my list. Way to go, Boks, says Smart Bite. And let's go, come on, says Cameron K. I'm calling it end score 42-27 for the Springboks. But Sam Underhill, he's done extremely well with about 3 or 4 Springbok forwards trying to hang off him and stop him from putting the ball down. He still slams it. Very nicely done. England better celebrate during the match because they won't celebrate at the end of the match, says Lally. England will get hammered, says KP. And under the board walks, or broad walks, says Blues Nate. But what we will do is we will update the score again in this match. Geez, we're doing this a lot throughout the early stages. Underhill has scored the try in the 26th minute. Go like that, we'll go like that. That try scorers list is getting pretty long, but the score is getting pretty high. 17 points to 19 at the moment between these two sides. All right, we will go like that, and we will go like that as well. What a game, says Ben Clark. Yeah, both sides throwing everything into this contest, which is, I mean, it's exactly what everyone wanted to see when these two sides go head-to-head. Awkward bouncing ball down towards that Springboks 22. I've been told to use it here, England. Now charging forward. Yeah, 17 to 19, the current score. Great contest, says Andrew. And what a game, says Ben Clark. Jack Van Porfliet, 27. Oh, it's charged down by Ebbett again, but he's lost his footing this time. Where's Peter Steff? He is right there, but he didn't get the pass away. Now the counter-attack coming from the English. Sending it across field, kicking downfield. It's going to stay in the field of play, or is it? It's a lot of juice on the kick. Just goes into the in-goal area, and Fussy puts it down for the goal line dropout. But England making a big territory gain there. And what was almost another charge down try for the South Africans. The kick from Van Porfliet just outside of his own 22 as Eben comes steaming through. He's got his timing down to a T. And then Smith could see Peter Steff. He knew that was not going to be the plan to try and boot it downfield again. And counter-attack, says Roof. It's now 1 for me, 1 for you, says Netta De Beer. And kick we please, says Elena, but it's going to be the goal line dropout. Down to 30 metres out from their own line here, South Africa defending. Chandler cutting himself, a little bit of the song going around the ground now. Crowd cheering very loud. They believe that England have got enough in this game to get themselves the victory. That was a knock-on from Jack Van Poortvliet on the ground. I am sure of it. But the way that I said that makes it sound like I wasn't. Now Maro Itoje goes back across here. Nice tackle by Wilco Lowe. Van Poortvliet again, little looping around play there. Marcus Smith looks for the offload. Knock-on from Ollie Lawrence. And it's going to be the scrum for South Africa yet again. And keep pushing, Marcus Smith, says Blues Nate. Do you think there might be a chance that we might get Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson 2 next year? I don't think so. I think Mike Tyson called out Logan Paul, didn't he? So, I mean, if he wants another 20 million, he'll probably take that fight. Because why wouldn't he? And we have good there. Well done, Labok. Yao Lekading. Says Lena. South Africa loves stress. We only wake up now. Says Chantal. But a good driving tackle made by Kurtli Arnse. And Boks need to look at their defence, says Stefan, and witness the fitness from this point onwards, says Cited. And how's Grant Williams playing? He's been really strong so far, getting that ball moving very nicely. Also pierced the defensive line and scored the first try of the match for South Africa in the 11th minute, even like an eagle, says Smoking RSA every day. Just seen Peter Steph score immense. He's pushing Ox for Player of the Year. That's the sad thing, is like Peter Steph 100% deserves Player of the Year. But I feel like everyone's got that soft spot for Ox-Nché, and they want to see him do well and maybe get it for a prop, just because props don't normally get that kind of recognition. And Ox has been so strong throughout the last 12 months. Do you have a graph to show where the ball is on the field? We have tried it before, but normally the graph is ahead of our commentary, so people didn't really like it. But currently 22 metres out from the Springboks line. They will have themselves a scrum, 20 metres from the far side of the field. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an indicator. I'll try my best to keep you updated about where it is on the field as the action's taking place. Currently 29 minutes into this game, and we've already seen 36 points scored between these two sides. Grant Williams to feed the scrum in. The Springboks have had a little bit more of a push at scrum time, and they do get themselves the penalty for it. World Rugby player will most likely be won by DuPont. I have no doubts on that. I wouldn't guarantee it. Like, I feel like for Peter Steph yes, DuPont did the whole Olympic side of things as well, but I don't know if they consider that. Because, yeah, I think the Seven side of things has kind of their own awards and whatnot. Whereas the highly rated Jasper Wiese, he's been putting in some big hits when he can, but I think we've seen a lot more of the Springboks locks throughout this first 25, 30 minutes, kind of Eben Etzebeth, Ardegas, Snyman, and then also Peter Steph has been extremely busy as well. Now, Mbanambi getting ready to throw this ball in at line-out time. Nicely claimed by Eben Etzebeth on the halfway line. Grant Williams sells the dummy and pierces the line again. Here's a real problem for this English defence, but Jamie George over the ball gets the clean turnover. In fact, that time it was Sam Underhill. England 30 metres out from their line, and Jack Van Poortvliet looks like he's going to give it across to Maro Itoje. That looked a bit high from Peter Steph And go the Boks go, says Long Wabo. And commentary sound too good, says Mr. Orlin. Jack Van Poortvliet kicking it high, Eben. He tried to get there again, but kicked it a little bit higher that time. And knocked on by Apalele Fasi. Option now for this English side, whether they want the scrum or the line out. Neither one has worked brilliantly for them in the early stages. Currently 31 minutes in. Probably only about the second or third touch for Apalele Fasi. No high tackles from England yet, says Mr. Darius. I think there was one earlier on from Will Stewart. Ended up hitting the ball and just riding up a little bit. But Jamie George, now with this line-out throw, 45 metres from their line, Ardegas Neyman right there. They've gone three-man line-out. That is really risky. And I'd assume they'll go over the back. No, in fact, they go to Chandler Cunning himself. Now George Martin with the flat ball to Ben Earl. Moves to 40 metres out. Jack Van Poortvliet again close to knocking the ball in the breakdown. Marcus Smith tried the up and under, but it was partially charged and well claimed by Jesse Creel for the Boks again. Oh, we just heard, I think Mother Effer was the comment in the breakdown. So someone got landed on, I would say. Marcus Smith now passes across to the right-hand side, charging forward down the wing. Freeman, it was close to the touchline. In fact, very close. Eben thought that it was out when he made the tackle. Now quick hands. Marcus Smith goes through. That looked high a little bit, or at least just an ugly, almost just body on body type of situation. Kicked him behind from Ollie Lawrence. That ball's going to pull up, and again, Kolbe. He will place it down, and it will be the goal line dropout, but still 2 points separating these two sides. Arendse and Jesse Kriel on the field. Haven't heard their name. We've seen not really that much of Jesse Kriel, but Kurtley Arendse has been making a lot of tackles defensively. I guess you can't really make a tackle attackingly, can you? So yeah, he's made a few tackles so far for Kurtley Arendse, who has the most territory. Oh, see, it's a tricky one because England... Yeah, see, that was a little bit high from Apalele. He didn't mean to, I don't think. He just ended up with Marcus Smith. He stepped, and then they both ended up in the same spot at the same time. But yeah, I would say that South Africa have had less time in England's half, but they've been the more effective side when they have been in there. Oh, no. Oxnard bleeding kneecap by the looks of that. Hopefully it's nothing too severe. He is limping, but I hope that is just because he's trying to stop it from really bleeding out. I hope it's nothing too serious and it's not like a bone fracture or anything like that for the big man Oxnard. But Gerhard Steenkamp makes his way onto the field now. And the Boks says Mahek there. And your last player that they want to be... Well, there's a long list of last players that they want to be losing, but Oxnard is certainly one of them. Definitely when scrums are starting to find their feet quite nicely. Kick downfield from the goal line, drop out, knocked on from Jesse Kriel from inside of the 22. Marcus Smith, they are still under advantage. Trying the cross kick, advantage over. And Kolbe will take the mark and send it downfield. It's gone into touch. Great kick. Has it? Yes, it has. Nicely done by Kolbe. His best kick of the day. He's had a couple early that he shanked off the side of the boot, but a lot more effective with that one. How long before intermission, Amish? I would say we've probably got another about 6.5, 7 minutes, somewhere around there. We have got their salty dog has become a member. Thank you very much. You now have access to those emojis on the channel. England in position here. About 35 out from their own line. What a huge battle. No sneezing today, Hamish. Too late. We already did it a little bit earlier on. Or even almost got another charge down. He's proven to be... How did that happen? Kolbe just won an aerial battle against Maro Itoje. So that is not ideal. Definitely not what you'd expect to see. But Kolbe, like I always say, he is an absolute athlete. Now, Kurtley Arendse trying to do the same, but well taken by Freddie Stewart. He's been good under the high ball, not so good on defence throughout the first 35 minutes. Now passing it across, picked up well by Will Stewart, and another big hit coming in from Wilco Lowe. I was just about to say, please don't forget to dehydrate, says Lorenzo there, and Oxoff. He is at the moment with a blood bin, so Gerhard Steenkamp is out there. And once again, an aerial battle. Both sides a little bit scrappy there. Dialendi has done extremely well to control it. And there might have been a knock on there in the breakdown. Andrew Brace about to blow his whistle, but does say play on. South Africa in possession. 40 metres out from their line. Mani Libbok once again going for that up and under across the field. Kurtley Arendse doesn't get it. Freddie Stewart, great take above his head. Open space for the fullback too. Chips it in behind. England winning the foot race. Oh, who did that come off? I think it's a knock-on from Tommy Freeman. So I think they will have the option here, South Africa, of either the crowd are booing, they're not happy about it, but it was knocked from Tommy Freeman. I think they'll take the scrum here if they get the choice for the Springboks. One moment, we are about to sneeze, so I'll quickly mute. They've just said they're lost forward into the green player. And now time is off by the sounds of it. We haven't actually had time off too many times throughout this first half. It's actually been extremely free-flowing. We've had 40 minutes worth of since kickoff, and we've had 36 minutes of action. So we can be pretty happy with that so far. So far, kicking distance, though, South Africa have had 439 metres of kicking and then 368 metres of kicking for the English. And keep moving, says Cheston. And so far, so good. Beautiful game, says Cedric. Yeah, it's been an extremely entertaining match of rugby, and now we're starting to see both sides start to tire just a tad for this first half with how fast-paced it has been. I've got the TV on mute to listen to your commentary, says Mr. Dyrus. Well, thank you very much. Anyone who does want to know the time, once it does get back up, I'll let you know when we reach 36 minutes for anyone who wants to sync up the timing. But now scrum feed for South Africa. They will be about 10 metres out from their line, and we'll be looking for that penalty. May I ask who your favourite team is, says Chantel. We try not to have too many favourites, but I have really enjoyed watching the Springboks this year in terms of the amount of changes that they've been willing to make. Like, Wilco Low was the 50th Springbok that Rassie has tried this year, which is absolutely huge. Like, no other side is trying that many players and finding success in as many games as they have. So far, it's the suit, Hamish. Our team is not doing good. I feel like if I turn on the TV, Bok will win. Right, so the clock has gone back on. We're now up to 36 minutes and 32 seconds. For anyone trying to sync up, what's the score? At the moment, it is 19 points to 17. So a pretty close game between these two sides. The crowd once again finding their voice. I've got a lovely case of cellulitis. Do not recommend it, knocks you out. Says Novmum there, so hopefully you do recover from that soon, Novmum. Marina Kiwi Lads Farnell, go the ABs. But go England as well to pull South Africa down a peg in ratings, says Nas. I think Jamie George just having a big discussion here with the referee about what the plan is for the scrums. The scrum itself has used up about a minute of play. And we are now just getting the bind call. Grant Williams, they are down again. Springboks will get themselves that penalty. Finding it pretty tricky to hold them up at the moment here, the English. Every scrum has looked dangerous. Wilco Low in that front row causing disruption to Alice Genge. Better listening to the commentary than watching TV. Much more exciting here. Hamish excitement in his voice. I love, says Lena there. And I just joined, says Linda, so welcome in. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers. And we are getting closer and closer. So if you do want to help us get there, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're only 600 away. So who knows, maybe we could even get there before the end of this live stream. But we are going to be back, of course, next week as well as New Zealand versus France. It's taking place in less than 2 hours' time. Bongi Umbanambi now throwing this ball in, nicely taken by Argas Neyman. Now a little chip in behind, attempted by Mani Lebok, chasing this one hard again. Well taken by Tommy Freeman, but Jasper Visa over the ball and wins the penalty for South Africa for not releasing. You're the Bone Squad commentator, says Johan. Cheslin Colby is a class act. He already getting himself a try in this game. Who's 60,000 far? That's awesome, says Nas. And they have decided to call for the kicking tee now with Mani Lebok. Visa, that's probably one of his biggest moments. Oh, you know what? Kurtley Ardens has done very well there to pull out of that one, realising he wasn't going to win the aerial battle, which I would argue at this point England have done better with. They've been able to retain the ball quite a bit, also handling those up and unders, but defensively, I would say that the Springboks still have that bit of an edge when it comes to the amount of line breaks that we've seen for the Bok. And distance kicks is cited, yeah, this one about 48 metres out. Will be a massive booster for Mani Lebok's confidence if he can get it over. Currently sitting 48 metres out and 2 from 3 for Mani Lebok. Bomb Squad Brewing, not for this game, only the 5-3 split Springboks went with for the third time in a row up against the English. They have decided that that is the plan. Mani Lebok, oh, it's going to miss away to the side. It had the distance, just not quite the accuracy, and Henry Slade now will look for the touchline. I accidentally said take a shot. I forgot it's Mani, never mind, says Vet there. And it's a walkover, says Thierry, and Go Lebok says ball. The first half seems like a long, and still long, taking forever. See, I feel the opposite. I feel like this is one of the fastest first halves we've had for the Springboks and England in quite some time. We've almost had 40 minutes, and it's only taken 44 minutes to get through the half. Whereas normally it can take 50 to 55. Sia Khaleesi, now flat ball from Williams. In fact, I would debate it was forward, but it's taken well by Jasper Visa. Williams again goes to Bongi Umbanambi. They are 30 metres out from the line now, the Springboks, looking for one last chance before the end of the first 40 minutes. It's dropped by Eben Etzebeth. And now Smith, little bit of pressure on him. If there is a turnover, it will be the end of the half. I think England may just look to clear this one into touch. Jack Van Poortvliet does so. And a half-time in this match, it is 17 points to 19. A very close one. But both of these sides, they've had their moments throughout this first half. I really wish that rugby officials leave rugby alone, keep changing the rules. Says Lawrence there in the box, says MM2. And when Sasha is back, Mani must retire. I mean, Mani's still very young though, so like there is a way of making a lineup. Like everyone is obsessed with the idea that Mani Libbok has to be the kicker. But like when you think about it, if they have Valimza at 15, Valimza could take on the kicking tee. If Pollard was playing 12 for some reason, he can have the kicking tee. Like there is a way of having Mani Libbok in the Springbok side without having him take the kicks. But it's currently 50%, sitting 2 from 4. And this game only separated by 2, so it could be the difference maker later on. In the contest, if you're as good as a builder as you are a commentator, I need you to build me a house. I can tell you right now, I certainly am not, if we're being honest, but I fill in when needed. I predict South Africa to win by 1 point. Says Wesley, I should say, sorry. And money is needed. Didn't y'all see the cross kick? Yeah, that's true. Like, his kicking gets a lot of criticism, but at the end of the day, Mani Libbok is still able to set up tries. Mani playing well, says Hooligan. The Springboks, it looks like Mani Libbok just having a bit of a chat there with Tony Brown about what is coming up soon. Gave him the thumbs up, and thanks for the great commentary, Amish, says Russell. No worries at all, and Springboks pulled a win out of their butts last week. Hope they can do it again. I mean, to be fair, they still won that game by about 15 points. Of course, the scoreboard probably seemed a little bit more one-sided than that game did, but yeah, they're one of those sides that they know how to win, and they've proven that time and time again throughout the last, I was going to say 24 months, but honestly, throughout the last 8 years, they have shown how to get wins when it matters most. And it's I'm Team Mani, says Adam there. Mani kicked well, chillax, says Lena. And yeah, still got himself the try assist in that case. And it's been targeting those up and unders, which England have, to their credit, been able to handle pretty well. Boks going to destroy everyone in the next 10 years, or for the next 10 years, says Gary there. And go the Bok, glad to see England is up for the challenge, though, says Bear. And it did seem debatable at times. I mean, they scored the first try. Then from there, South Africa able to fire back with 2 of their own. And it seemed like maybe that was where the momentum shift was happening. But, I mean, so far, very entertaining first half between these two sides. That half was fun, says Grant. And yeah, it was quick. That's the best thing about it. Normally, you know, in rugby nowadays, you're looking at 50 minutes, 55 minutes for a half of rugby. That one was finished in, I think, 44 minutes. And even that was maybe a little bit later. So, yeah, they've certainly made sure that they've been speedy throughout that first half. We normally have that 15-minute or so break, and then we'll be straight back into the action. Stats, possession, penalty, scrums, lineouts, etc. Please, says Brennan. We will be getting those at a very short moment. First of all, though, the try scorers in this game, Grant Williams, scoring the first try of the match for South Africa with Peter Toy, able to get that charge down try. And then also, there was one more that was scored by Cheslin Kolbe off the cross kick of Mani Libbok. But when we look at England, they were able to get the slate home try as well as the secondary try that came from Sam Underhill. In terms of metres made so far throughout this game, South Africa have made 228 compared to England's 343. We have seen double the offloads coming from South Africa, most of which probably from Arga Snyman. 60 tackles made by South Africa, missing 16. 54 tackles made by England, missing 14. And then also dominant tackles. We've seen more from South Africa, 3 extra from the South Africans. Top carries, or most carries throughout this game so far has been all England pretty much. We've seen 8 from Earl, 7 from Marcus Smith, then Underhill, Snyman, and Peter Toy have all had the 6. In terms of the metres made, Grant Williams, he has had 63 metres made so far. Marcus Smith with 48, Freddie Stewart with 44, and Earl with 43. We have got there, come on England, says Moa Hunters, and Peter Toy should take the upcoming award. So far for the tackles as well, I should mention, we've seen Jamie George, he's made 11. Wilco Lowe has made 9. So doing very well for the Springboks. Sia Khaleesi 7, Visa 7, and Ollie Lawrence has made the 6. And why is Fuff not playing? He is still injured. So he is not available for this game. We have got there, you speak Dutch, bro. You got that accent when you say the Boks names? I do not know. I don't think I could honestly say even a single word of Dutch. Like, I don't even know how to say hello in Dutch. It would be cool if you can make a deal with YouTube to show the game a half screen, says Ian. Yeah, see, like, YouTube would be fine with it if we had prior consent from, like, World Rugby and whatnot, but that is the difficult part. It's not so much YouTube. YouTube are just doing what they're told. Because if YouTube take you down, it's because they've been pretty much sent something saying, we will sue you if you don't tell this stream or take this stream down. It's not Dutch, it's Afrikaans, says Quinton there. Leave him to rest, says Conrad. And the stream is Leka says Cider. Yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and we are getting closer and closer by the minute. So if you do want to help us there, be sure to do so. Good morning, says Simran. Welcome in. We don't speak Dutch in South Africa, says Sakabula. I think he was saying the accent side of things. Maybe he is Dutch or he is someone who's from the Netherlands. And we have there comes from Dutch. And he already did. Julian miskicked. He plays well, but don't let him kick. Go the Bok, go Bok, go Bok, says Phineas in the chat as well. Also, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that like button. We will make a goal of, we might as well go big. We'll go 1,000 likes on this live stream if we can do it. It will be very impressive. And Afrikaans, my bro, says Sanazo there. And we have got there the Boks, says Jordan might as well show the game, Hamish. I just don't want to turn it on. Says Mr. All In. Yeah, currently in terms of that subscriber number, we are sitting only 500 away now. You say South African name's good though. Well done, says Quinton. And are you happy so far with the All Blacks? I mean, they've done a lot better in this November Internationals tour than some anticipated. Like, people expected them to have a really hard game with England, which is exactly what they had. But they managed to get themselves the win there. Ireland, people expected them to lose. They came in as underdogs and pulled off the victory. And then this game up against France, once again, coming in as an underdog. Have to wait and see whether or not they can get the job done. Guys should give Money his time, do what he knows to do best. He's good at breaking defence during attack. And also his defence is way better compared to Pollard's. People love Pollard just for the goal kicking. Says Smart Bite. And the Bok needs to go, says Charles, was literally like 3 comments down. So it's definitely a 50-50 in terms of whether or not people do enjoy Mani Lebok. We have got there, Hamish, stop your building job and just commentate all sport. Unfortunately, that is not financially stable enough for me to do. We do YouTube as the hobby side of things, mainly because we have to work alongside it. Nothing wrong with a little Dutch on the side, says School Story Bro, poor money. Says Paulie, and has had practice for years. Our pronunciation is on point, says Lilia B. But looking through at the benches for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the English bench, it is a 5-3 split, just like the Springboks. Luke Cowan, Dickie Finn, Baxter, and Dan Cole as the front row replacements. Nick Ezekwe and Alex Dombrandt as the other two forward replacements. Then Harry Randall, George Ford, and Roebuck at number 23. For the South African side, Malcolm Marx, Gerhard Stennekamp. He did make his way onto the field a little bit earlier on. That was due to Oxnashare having a bit of a knee injury. It's actually cut open, so hopefully they'll be able to patch that up. Vincent Koch as the number 18. Eldrick Lowe and Quagga Smith, the two loose board replacements. Now, they have got Peter Stiftatoy out there on the field who can transition into lock if needed. Kobus Reinach at 21. Hondre Pollard, 22. And Lukan Yuam, the experienced man, at number 23. So the Springboks, they've got quite a bit of experience coming off that bench late. They haven't gone with the 6-2 or the 7-1, but the last 3 times up against the English, they have now gone with the 5-3. And we have got their Money is a great player, just don't let the guy kick. Putting him in a bad light, says Robert. And we have got their Stewart is beating our wingers under the high ball. And that's the thing, that is why Freddie Stewart got added into this team. It wasn't because of the defense, because he has been a little bit poor on defense overall, but in terms of getting under the high ball, that is exactly why Freddie Stewart is there. We have there Quagga Wrong Turn Smith is coming and going to take over, says Vinchnu, and this is the longest first half ever, says Ren. The half ended about probably 10 minutes ago, I would say. So if you're talking about longest first, like the halftime break ever, we are working towards it, but overall one of the quickest halves we've actually seen in terms of numbers ever for these two sides going head-to-head. It only took 44 minutes to play, and a lot of games nowadays take about 50 to 55 minutes. So very little intervention from any TMO, very little things being looked at throughout this game. It's been a really good free-flowing game of rugby so far throughout the first half. England, correct your mistakes and play that box, says Nicholas. And don't think anyone can say this game is damn exciting. Both teams are here to play. Ref has been... can't say this game is damn exciting. I was confused for a second. Player of the first half. I would say that Peter Steph Totoy is definitely right up there in terms of what he has been able to do. Grant Williams, he's been electric in that 9 jersey for the English. I'd say probably Marcus Smith in terms of the impact that he always brings. And we have got there Marnie Libok is not a fly half because he can't kick at goal. He must move to a centre or the wing. But why does it have to be a fly half who kicks? Like, looking back through South Africa's history, Percy Montgomery, he wasn't a fly half. Yeah, he was able to knock them over. It's just that, I guess, the mindset now that your 10 has to be the kicker. But we've seen fullbacks for other teams. We've seen 12s. We've seen 9s kicking, depending on who they are. So, like, I think you can still have Marnie Libok at 10. It's just finding a way of either having Hendrickse, like we saw, taking those kicks, or chiseling Colby could be on the goal-kicking department. Have you heard about the Jalabert saga? I've seen a little bit about it. I don't think it's as serious as some people are making out. I think he just pretty much said, if I'm not in the starting lineup, I don't want to come on off the bench, and I'd rather go home. So coach was like, yep, fine. I love the one-handers from Arge. Yeah, anytime he's on the field, Arge's name, and you know there's going to be an offload. We've already seen 4 from the South Africans in that first half, and I feel like we will see many more throughout the second as well, with Arge's name and just loving to throw that ball around. What was wrong with Arge's try? Says Eric. Which try you talking? The Arge try. I mean, there was one where he was held up and then he was just short. If that's the one you're talking about, then that was short, so that's why it was a no try. Are you also right? But Libok is having confidence problems, says Stefan. Percy Montgomery was 15, wasn't he? Exactly right. And they have got options in those other positions. Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu. Like, people want to see him as a 10, but there's also a chance that we could see him as a 15, playing at the back for the Springboks. So then he can do the kicking. Libok can be a 10. And that would work as a very good combination. Yes, miss, says Eric. I think second half will be more exciting from a Boks supporter perspective. I mean, compared to the game up against Scotland, I would say that this was probably a much more exciting half than we saw in either half up against the Scottish. And I feel like that's the thing. When you've got a side that are number 1 in the world, the expectations are so high. But, like, the Springboks, they didn't do a huge amount wrong. Like, yes, there were a couple errors along the way, but it's still a very entertaining half of rugby, at least from my point of view. 44 minutes of all-out action between these two sides, but I do feel like we will see the fatigue start to catch up with these sides as we get closer to the end of the game. I do see that the English reserves are just running around at the moment, so I don't think we'll be too far away from the second half getting underway. 15 has distance, while Geordie is hard to replace. Says Mr. Orlin, it's a running game Pommies will get, and there's more fire because there's more running. And Farsi has been very quiet, says Stefan. Yeah, they haven't really gone deep with their kicks so far, the English. They've instead decided to go with those shallow ones, trying to get it just behind that Springbok attacking line. And you can't defend Marnie if you can kick drop Libok. We have Hondre and Sasha. So what is Russie's issue with Libok? Says Farouk there. Look at that hi from Amsterdam, says Faleki. And the chat as well. Welcome in, mate. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently less than 500 away from the 60,000. So we may even be able to get there by the end of this live stream. Go the Bok. It's too close for comfort. We need some distance in those numbers. I mean, it's tired, Hamish. I wasn't sure because I've been sworn at a lot in Afrikaans, so I always have to be wary of words that I don't know. Marnie, get your ass on the plane. So you're going to play them up against the Welsh because I assume they're flying there pretty much straight after this game. For the Springboks, great coverage. Thanks, Warren. Says from Israel as well as in there from Warren. Welcome in. And Libok, a 50-50 chance. He's unpredictable. I just subscribed. Says your favourite gamer. Thank you very much. These two sides now making their way out of the tunnel. So a 15-minute break. Now we're back into the rugby. But it's not very often that after an hour since kickoff, you would see the second half beginning. So, yeah, really well done by the referees in terms of this game, being able to keep it flowing well enough that there weren't really any major decisions, no TMO ones that took 2 minutes to try and work out. We have there, Pollard is needed, says Sanazo there, and Cheslin to try, says Shaz. And there as well, we've got a donation from David as well, 10. And there as well, thank you very much, mate. Is that as in like the 10 jersey, or what is the 10 referring to, David? Do let me know, but I do thank you very much for your generosity. It is very greatly appreciated. New rules help with time, I guess, says Paulie. It means the forwards will be tired, says Annoy. Exactly right. And this is where maybe a 6-2 split off the bench for either of these sides could have come in handy. But whether or not they can really make the most of those replacement backs later on is soon to be seen. But the South Africans, they are going to be kicking this one off from right to left to get us underway for the second half. Has an angle issue. He needs to move to the sharper run-up angle. He did this with the Stormers. Not sure why it's changed, says Bear. The music's still playing at the ground. Samani Libok just waiting for it to stop. And now we are underway for the second half in this contest. And it's going to be a knock-on early on from England. Not the start to the half they were after. Kutli Arunsa gets it away to Wilco Low, who had an impressive first half. Topping the tackling stats for the South Africans. Jasper Visa almost through, but just dragged down by Will Stewart. It's a fast-paced start to the second half, just like the first. Williams goes across to Umbanambi. In this box, strike early. Wilco Low with another carry. Williams back across there to Peter Steph Toy. Manages to shove off one challenge coming through. Now Grant Williams again goes to Eben Etzebeth. And a new advantage coming in favour of the South Africans, so they can throw everything at this now. Cheslin Kolbe looking for the gap. He goes straight through. Steps as well. Finds the offload to Fussy. They are 10 metres out from the line here, the Springboks. And that is a brilliant step to break the line. Just throwing that one out like it's the NFL off to Visa. Chandler Cunning himself makes the tackle. There might have been a knock-on the ground from Grant Williams in that breakdown, but it is play on. Little kick in behind attempted by Damien Dialendi, and the mark is called, and the advantage was over. So I don't think the Springboks fans will be too happy with that one. But then saying that, Cheslin Colby, he did break the line and a really close chance of being able to score a try. We have got their way, don't they show the game? It is due to licensing. Pretty much any match footage or audio would get us taken straight off YouTube and banned for 3 months. Now that one's going to be kicked into touch by England for their mark. The gameplay says Yabo. It is available on Super Sport, Sky Sport here in New Zealand. Vincent Koch now will make his way onto the field. That is for Wilco Low, who I do feel slightly bad for because he seemed like he was just getting into his work. 2 quick carries in a row. And now he's going to be taken from the field. But I would say that was in the original plan to take him off after about 42. Plus, with the fact that they've already had to make that other switch of Oxnashare off the field due to his knee, it does make a bit of sense. But the Springboks are yet to lose a line out. They are 7 from 7. England, they have won 4, but they have lost 1. Oh, that's just throwing a Toje across. It's an easy advantage for the referee to give. Jasper Visa, another good bit of crash ball there from the big man. Dialendi goes in behind, finds up a Lelefasi. Cheslin Colby, so much space on the outside. In fact, it's Kurtley Arunsa. The headgear always gets me. But that is the try early on in the second half for the Springboks. Kurtley Arunsa does get it. They had the advantage after line-out time, so just throwing everything at it. And as soon as Arunsa had the space he did, it was going to be extremely hard to stop him. It has to be lovely stuff. Says sighted there. Yeah, just flying down the wing, Kurtley Arunsa. Great pass from Mapa Lelefasi to be able to time it to perfection. Once again, we see Freddie Stewart just a little bit caught out of position. We're just seeing the ankle tap. Perfect lift of the foot there from Kurtley Arunsa. The timing was on point. And I called it 42-something, didn't I? Says Dan, you did go 42-27. Oh, hang on, time off. Is this going to be the first intervention from the TMO? We mentioned about it in the first half, how free-flowing it was. Now we're going upstairs. Oh, they're saying the last pass was forward. from Upper Lelefasi. It probably was, yeah, drifted forward. Yeah, that is forward from Upper Lelefasi, so that is going to be no try. I believe that's the first time the TMO has had to get involved in this game, but the pass from Fassi just didn't go back out of their hands. And it's going to be the no try. Clearly forward says Anth in there. And let's get to 1,000 likes for sure. Says Sanaso, are you going to need your voice for the next match in there? And that's a rubbish decision, says Jimbo. But of course, yeah, the next game that is taking place, it is kicking off in only an hour and a half's time. That is France versus New Zealand. To anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are still on the road to 60,000, only 400 away now. So if you want to help us get there. Now, I should mention the Springboks already still had penalty advantage. So they will be able to kick this one for touch with Marnie Libok 40 metres out. Those asking to see the game really don't understand how the world works. Pay your DSTV subs or enjoy this excellent commentary for free, says Max22Able. Yeah, it is unfortunate that we can't show it, and if there was a way of showing it without it being illegal, I can guarantee you we would be showing it, but it's just, you know, it is against the law to show any sort of footage, and we don't really want to get sued, even though we're dressed for the lawsuit, as I always say. It doesn't mean we actually want to go to court. But now short ball from Umbanambi, and this is still a good chance for the Springboks to be able to score themselves a try, but over the ball, Underhill says no thank you. We'll get this one back. In fact, it's Ben Earl this time. What is the score now? The score is still 19 points to 17. They just haven't taken it away. What did you say your score prediction was? My score prediction cannot happen, as it was 24-19 in favour of South Africa. But I went South Africa by 5 as the margin I was looking at. Oh, Marcus Smith just gets that one into touch. 42 metres out from their own line now. They will have themselves the line out. Temo sucks, says Rhea, and dressed for the lawsuit, says Bear. And we have got there good commentary as always. Amish says, Aaron, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you being here for this one. Yet again, Jamie George throws it in. And nicely claimed by Maro Atoje. Now breaking off the back, Chandler cutting himself. I'll be honest, that man has had an extremely quiet game. Compared to what we normally see, you know, you normally see him cheering and shouting and really loud. But in this case, we just haven't really seen that man other than maybe once. YouTube policy's got a respect. Oh, another penalty going to England in the breakdown. That is 2 in a row. 7 was the first man. And then someone off their feet, I think that is, against Eben Etzebeth in that breakdown. Another try and penalty, please. And that's the thing. England now have the opportunity to score themselves a 3-pointer, which would take them into the lead. Love the accent, says Lulman there. And my TV is on mute, and we are listening to your commentary. Much love, brother, says Wang Songwad Bile. Thank you very much. Yeah, Underhill on the ball. Marcus Smith. Oh, England kicking for the corner. This is a really big decision here, as I do feel like it was within his kicking distance. How long after the game until the highlights will be shown on YouTube? Normally, the Autumn Nation series do it the next day, but I believe there will be highlights of some sort on one of the broadcasts. It's probably England, BT Sport or something like that, and they'll more than likely have the highlights maybe 10, 15 minutes afterwards, somewhere around there. And now 2 subs have been made. Malcolm Marks onto the field for Bongi Umbanambi, and also Marnie Libok is off. Hondre Pollard has made his way on. Now rolling forward here for the English. This is their best rolling ball of the day. And Jack Van Porflier fires it across. A little bit of a momentum killer there with the pass being too high. And Pollard makes his first tackle since making his way onto the field. 20 metres out here for the English. Alice Genge gets through one tackle attempt of Snyman, gets through another of Colby, but then is dragged down by Vesa. Going to the left-hand side. Once again, the pass from Van Porflier. It wasn't great. Could have been a deliberate knockdown from the English. In fact, no, I think it's actually just hit someone, maybe not in the hand. Chandler cutting himself. Carries it into Gerhard Stennekamp back into the pocket. No, in fact, I thought he was going to go for the drop kick again, but the cross kick attempted in the air. Tommy Freeman takes it, and they will be 10 metres, in fact now 5 metres from the line here. Van Poortvliet goes across to Jamie George. There's a relentless nature about this English attack now. They know they're on the verge of the possibility of another try. Ollie Lawrence just crashes straight, but is dragged down again. Chandler Cunningham sells the dummy, goes himself. Sia Khaleesi and Malcolm Marks are there to be able to stop him. Maro Itoje looks like he will have a carry of his own, crumbled by Vincent Koch and Gerhard Stenekam. No advantage against South Africa. This is only inches from the line as well. So you're in that scenario. If they give away another one, they could end up with a player in the bin. Hopefully not, though. This game has been free-flowing. We haven't had any sin bin players as of yet. Around the side again. South Africa still have the advantage against the Marcus Smith with a pop pass up. Wide cutout pass. And it's the try for England. Henry Slade slides it in. And they will now take the lead in this game. The one disallowed at the other end by the sounds of it. They are just checking this one to make sure that it is all good. But Henry Slade scoring in the 48th minute. The crowd have found their voice. The pass for a start, it looked like it might have been a bit of a mistake. But once again, under the high ball, the English doing well. Apalele Fasi came forward. Kurtley Arunsa retreated, and neither of which able to get a hand to it. Instead, Tommy Freeman claimed it. Oh, here we go. We're checking this as well. See, that's pretty flat too. Oh no, hang on, there's a potential neck roll. Now, I would assume that's against England. So this could be a disallowed try for a different reason. We didn't see the TMO at all throughout the first half, and now we're going to see it again. The crowd are kind of cheering, but I don't think they realise that's against them, and now they've realised, so now they're booing. And WLK said if that was a forward pass, then 90% of the All Blacks passes are forward, says WLK. But yeah, they're reviewing the foul play, not the forward pass. Yeah. Maro Itoje on Malcolm Marks. That is a neck roll. Okay, they're just asking whether or not it was before or after the penalty advantage. It was after. See, I'd say that is an attempted neck roll from Maro Itoje. One more here. To see the replay from Maro Itoje. He does have him around the neck. So I think this is going to be disallowed. Are we ready? They're about to make the decision. They're just finishing this angle off, is the comment from, I think it's Ben Whitehouse. Right. It's going to be no try for a neck roll. Penalty against England. We will disallow that one too. We jinxed it. Unfortunately, we did say... Oh. Okay. So Jamie George has just said they've got Henry Slade, or they've got someone going off the field for an HIA with a direct head contact from Damien Dialendi. Jamie George is not happy. And Ben Whitehouse is clearing everything he says, but Jamie George not happy with that decision. This ref is Welsh, right? That is correct, yes. Well, the TMO is Welsh. I think the referee himself is Irish. The Boks pass was not forward. England are, says Pepperstone. Okay, so it's going to be against 4 white. So that was before the advantage as well. So that is why England have conceded that penalty rather than the other way around. But both of these sides already in the second half had a disallowed try. I think Jamie, or in fact, there was Ellis Genge. He came up to the referee to find out numbers in the line out. In fact, they have the wrong number here, don't they? I think England had 5 there at their line out rather than the 4, but they have managed to get the line out still. Is it a penalty only? It is just the penalty, yes. But Marcus Smith with the inside ball to Ellis Genge now finds Sia Khaleesi in that Springbok defensive line. Passing it, a little bit loose. The Lawrence sits down Eben Etzebeth. Something you don't say too often about the big man. Luke Cowan-Dickie is also now on the field. That is for Jamie George. Marcus Smith thought about the offload. Can't get it away. England 30 metres out from the line. A tackle made by Malcolm Marks, who has been busy since making his way out onto the field here. We're currently 50 minutes through, ladies and gentlemen. That clock is very quick, but it just shows you how much time we have lost due to the TMO and whatnot in this second half. We've already had 2 disallowed tries. Again, the up and under to the back. Chasing hard here is England, and I think he was blocked a bit by Jesse Krill, but the ball now in the hands of Grant Williams. Passes off to Vesa, and there is the penalty for the shepherding and blocking the man running through. So England have an easy 3 points if they want it here, and this would give them the lead in this match. Game over now as the Bomb Squad are coming on in a minute. The Bomb Squad are not there for this game, though. It is a 5-3 split, and 3 of them have already been taken off. So in terms of the Bomb Squad that they've got remaining, they've got Eldrick Lowe and Quagga Smith, which is still that's a hefty couple subs that you can make, but yeah, they haven't got their remaining normal Bomb Squad that we would see. But it looks like they are calling for the shot here. England already having a meltdown about the ref. Says Bongi in there and take the point, says Sean. It does seem like the smarter decision in this case. Slightly less obnoxious than the Irish South Africa supporters. So I was just being honest. Says Gregor there. And Luke Cowan-Dickie, I haven't heard his name in a while for the English. Says Marco. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's been so much of Jamie George playing, 75, 80 minutes at times for the English that, Luke Cowan-Dickie just kind of went away and didn't get too many cracks at starting. Malcolm is the Bomb Squad, says Stan. Well, he is already on the field. And he's already had a decent impact in just a few minutes that he's been out there. Score, please. At the moment, the score is still 19 points to 17, but a kick to come for Marcus Smith here could make it 20 points to 19 in favour of England. This one should go over. It is relatively straight out in front. And Bomb Squad, yeah, right, says Spider Meat, but that kick has gone over, so now England will take the lead back in this game. There have been quite a few lead changes in this match. Where is England? Europe, if that is the question, unless you're talking about where they are on the field. Marcus Smith was 15 metres out with a nice easy kick. And the Bok pass was not forward. England, F you all, says Pepperstone. England clearly the better team currently. They've been much better under the high ball. I would say in general play, we've seen some great work coming from South Africa. In fact, there's going to be a really good chance to attack here as well. Maro Itoje getting over the ball. So they will go back for the scrum. The English should go eat fish and chips. I don't know whether or not that's like an insult, because fish and chips is actually quite good. Like, I would happily eat fish and chips if I was given it. So, like, I don't... Like, is that, like, as an insult, or are you saying it like you'd say, like, for a South African to eat a braai? Like, is that the same thing? Like, is it good or bad? John Bones the GOAT, says Jade. Okay, ref doing better. Now we have got the I Love Haddock and chips now. Ref is rather good, really. They had really good control over this game in the first half. Second half, we've seen a little bit more, of course, of that TMO coming into it. But, like, first half was really smooth. I feel like it couldn't have been much smoother than it was. Careful, England. Scoring only annoys them, says Eric J. As South Africa do often come back late in a game. You got this, says Mia. It's an insult, Hamish. We have fresh ones and it's cheap, says Mr. Holland. We are 53 minutes through. This clock is very quick at the moment, but the score still remains the same, just taking 5 minutes off. Okay, Andrew Brace pretty much saying, stop looking at my sideline referee, look at me. Got new men on the field, needs to be better. And thank you so much for doing the audio commentary. I don't have Sky Sports, quality work there, bud. Says Greg, are you in New Zealand, out of curiosity, Greg? Because if you're in New Zealand and you do have a TAB account, it's actually being shown on the TAB here in New Zealand, which is something that I didn't realise until last week, but they're showing quite a few of the international games on the TAB, which is quite awesome. Now, Grant Williams, penalty to England at scrum time. That's a big one, because I think that if South Africa got that ball in and started pushing, it would have gone the other way. We have there, who do you think, or how do you think New Zealand, France will end? I mean, I've given a prediction of New Zealand to win, and I went a little bit too generous, I think. I went New Zealand by 13. Just because I look at this French forward pack and I just don't know with the players that they're missing whether it will be at that same standard. But at the end of the day, it's the Stade de France. Like, there is a chance that France can win that game and they come in as favourites. I don't know why. I've just got that inkling that maybe this is going to be a big game for New Zealand here. Is lamb chops cheaper in New Zealand? Not really. It's actually quite expensive, even though they're like in New Zealand. But yeah, it's still quite expensive overall. There is a knock on there at line out time. First from England, then from South Africa. Barrett on 10, going to run the show. Says Zipper. The French are favourites, really, just by a little bit. Like, it's $1.82 to $1.92, so extremely close. Currently 55 minutes in. Agrias Sneyman, as well as Etzebeth, still out there on the field. Hi from Simon and Peggy. Says Simon there. South African and Brazilian living in Portland, Oregon. Thanks so much for your excellent commentary. Thank you very much for being here. We've had quite a few viewers from the USA, but I don't think many of them have been actually born in the USA. There's been a lot who have gone over there for either travel or just to live. So, yeah, welcome in. Now kicking this one into touch from Marcus Smith. Wait, what's happened there? How's that ended up? Something must have happened after that knock-on or something before the knock-on, because originally I think Andrew Brace did give it as a scrum to South Africa. But it must have become a penalty to England. Now England claiming their line out on the halfway line. Flat ball into the middle of the field. See Upper Lilifasi hanging back, and he will have to take this one. In fact, it's Cheslin Kolbe who has now knocked that ball on. Freddie Stewart looking, that's a really dumb grubber in behind, and Upper Lilifasi now will sink his slipper into it. England lose about 50 metres of territory there, just with one little grubber kick. Marcus Smith kicking downfield, chasing after this one hard as Tommy Freeman. Doesn't get it cleanly. Pollard takes it well. Now 24 minutes left on the clock. Grant Williams goes back across to the right-hand side where Jasper Visser is waiting. And dumb grubber, yeah, when you've got the penalty advantage, a knock-on advantage, that's when you throw some attack at the opposition. Definitely when they've got three men back for it. Great take again from Freddie Stewart under the high ball. I think South Africa, for their kicking overall, when they've gone for those up and unders, it's just a little bit too deep that their kicks are going. Whereas when England do it, it's been very contestable. And I think we're going to see another one here very soon. Well, no, we're not, because the penalty has gone the way of South Africa in the breakdown. Yes, because ref is in there. Yeah, a lot of comments about the ref at this point. And Marnie missed the kick, can cost us the game. Yeah, that's 4 points that they've left out on the field at the moment, and that would give them a current 3-point lead had those kicks gone over. Listening from Whangarei, says Milbay. Of course, be sure to stick around for New Zealand versus France, which is happening in only about an hour and 10 minutes time, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Total penalties conceded, 9 against England, 7 against South Africa, so the more disciplined side. No surprise South Africa now focus on the ref, says Amph. And if South Africa lose, they will drop to second place in the world rankings and New Zealand take first place. In fact, I think they actually dropped to third, believe it or not. But now that they've got Pollard out there on the field, this penalty from the halfway line will become a kicking chance. He will look to add the 3. Last week off the kicking tee, though, there were at times that he was a little bit shaky. So the pressure is on now. He has to get this one over. Pollard steps up to the ball. And hit the crossbar and goes over from Andre Pollard. He wouldn't have wanted it to be a metre, even an inch further back, or else that one wouldn't have gone over for him. But now the Springboks take the lead back again here, 22 points to 20. We have got there, we should let Ox kick, says TJ, an unbeatable walk. We see Dan Cole now making his way onto the field for the English. Is it in? It just went over. Hit the post or hit the crossbar and bounced in the right direction. Going to be kicked off now by England once again, opting to go short. Well claimed by South Africa. Grant Williams now Ready to boot this one up nice and high. Once again, trying to get a chaser in, but again claimed by Freddie Stewart under the high ball. And game is too close for comfort. Go the Boksies. Burning Lash. TMO won't take this one at last. Or take this one at least. Says Gugu there. I need to watch the highlights after this commentary. Now, Jack Van Poorfleet. Kicks up high again. This time just a little bit too deep in the kick. And Upper Fasi runs onto it nicely. Grant Williams back across to the right-hand side to Jasper Visa. 40 metres from their line here, South Africa. Back into the pocket, and Pollard will now go for the up and under again. Kurt Liarense trying to line it up. Oh, that's an ugly one, I think. They're saying that it was contested, but Freddie Stewart, I think, got maybe dragged down. The crowd are not happy about it. And go. Oh. I think that's going to be a knock-on, is it? Yes, it is. Knock-on in the breakdown from South Africa. So another scrum will be coming for the English. See there, yeah. Freddie Stewart got it and then pulled down by Kurt Liarense. So easily could have been a penalty. And in fact, I think they've realised it, and now they will go back. And a penalty goes to England for taken out in the air. Boks are doing a bit bad, but honestly, ref is against them. Says Sefetiswick. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And it should not have been this close, says Tanya. Now Kobus Reinach about to make his way onto the field. Jasper Fisa, he is off. And that brings on Quagga Smith, Mr. Super Sub. How much time to go? 20 minutes remaining in this matchup. So we are into the final quarter, and this is when both sides will be really tested for their fatigue. Looks like another change is about to be made this time for England. Harry Randall. I like how you pronounce Afalele Fasi. On point though. Says Sweetness. A position on the field, says Nico. This one will be about 40 metres out from their own line here. So not a kickable one for the English. And rankings only count with the Rugby World Cup draw is being made, says Alan King. And Grant Williams taken off the field. Great game for him. In terms of that running, he managed to get himself the early try for the Boks. They haven't scored a try since the 21st minute. The English, they haven't scored a try since the 26th. Is there a penalty for England? There is indeed. So Kurt Liarense taking Freddie Stewart out in the air. Why is ref so against South Africa? Who agrees? Or am I going crazy? I'll be honest, it hasn't been terribly reffed, I don't think, for this game. I think that the TMO is very quick in the second half to jump in and judge things. Because people were saying it's the ref who gave that forward pass. It wasn't. It was the TMO who did that decision. So the ref can't be blamed for that one. But now rolling forward here. And well shut down. I think that's by Kobus Reinach. Yes, he is. Manages to drag down the maul by himself. And no DNA, just RSA, says Kumva, as well as Sanazo, right next to each other. Charging forward 15 metres out from the line here for England. Down by 2 points. Still 19 minutes left on the clock. And we have got their... TMO should shut their fingers up. Says Blues Nate and kick in position away. It's done play by the Boksies. Kobus. Oh, it's a penalty now in the breakdown though. Malcolm Marks over the ball. Wins that turnover. I don't think the ref is the issue. Why is it always the ref? When stuff doesn't go our way, says Bear. Yeah, there's been many little things in this game that a Springboks won't be that happy about. I think that once again, that kicking. They've been kicking a lot, going in behind, but they haven't been able to get someone chasing close enough to really contest. So I feel like a little chip or maybe a grubber might be the better chance here, just to mix it up a little bit. I think they've gone aerial a little bit too often. Who you got winning from here on? I still think South Africa know how to close out games, and England... The struggle that they've had over their last few games, definitely in November, is they've been very close and then they lose in the final moments of a game. So South Africa will still be confident that they can go on and win this game. It's just whether or not they can find that rhythm quickly with all the changes that have now been made. Oh, breaking the line there. Damien Dialendi skip pass out to Kolbe. That looked a little bit too easy, and the Springboks will score. I didn't think that was going to be a chance. I thought I was fine to have some water, but Cheslin and Colby down the wing, they decide to run it this time, and it works perfectly for the South Africans. 2 tries in this match for Cheslin and Colby, And that one might be the most important. Just using the back line. Lindy breaking the line, cutting this English defence open. And this now gives them a 7-point lead with a kick to come. Yeah, straight through for Damien Lindy. Pins the ears back. Then Cheslin Kolbe stepping round Slate home. It's extremely hard to stop him. You're home alone while mum is at the bar with her new boyfriend. Get a man too, leave your mum to have fun. I'm so confused at what you're talking about, Bongy. And how annoying. Oh, yeah, they were just watching it in slow-mo, but I don't think that was to check it. I think that was just to enjoy it. Cheslin, you biscuit. Is that an insult or a good thing? Because like people like biscuits, but I don't know whether you're saying it in a good way or a bad way. But that kick from Pollard has also gone over. We have got there how much time left? Still another 16 minutes remaining in this one. And we have got there, you should mix a carver bowl. And someone said, can you have a drink in another 2 minutes? I mean, I don't know if it was the drink that led to the try or not, but it certainly was great timing in that regard. It's a good way, says T. And 16 minutes left, says zero connection. And there as well. Biscuit is a good thing. Is it? See, for us here in New Zealand, if you call someone a biscuit, you're normally insulting them. Update the score, says Thato. It has just updated itself, as it is an online scoreboard. Cheslin Kolbe kicking that one into touch. Oh, a little bit of push and shove about to take place. Slate home wanted to shove him. Didn't get any sort of reply. You biscuit, huge compliment. Biscuit is good, biscuit is a compliment. I see. See, for, I guess that just shows different regions, different, like, I guess, understandings of it. Because, like, yeah, if you said to someone you're a biscuit here in New Zealand, they'd be insulted. Whereas, like, I guess over there, it's like, it's good, you know, you biscuit Cheslin Kolbe. It feels weird to say just because, like I said, here in New Zealand, it's not the same thing. That's going to be knocked on. Oh, a penalty here. Going the way of the English. Depends on how you use it, says Thato. Hamish, you biscuit, says Shaz. Shut your biscuit, you egg, says Spider-Mech. Now, Alex Donbrandt looks like he is very close to making his way onto the field. One of his hands is strapped as if he's going into a boxing match. Don't know what he's done there. Maybe sliced and diced it last week. Not our fault. New Zealand biscuits are terrible. No, they're real good, though. Like, that's the thing. I just, like Gordon Ramsay, he says you donut, but is like a donut a good thing in South Africa as well? Like, could you call someone, like, you'd be like, Cheslin, you donut, and that's good? Or would that be bad? Biscuit is normally a liquor thing, says Scott. Now Luke Cowan, Dickey throws it in, nicely taken by George Martin on the halfway line here for England. They're only 5 metres from the sideline. And making some nice metres with this rolling ball, but Arges Neyman, he wants to get in there. There's an advantage against South Africa again. Now Harry Randall puts the little chip in behind, cleaned up by Pollard. So they'll go back for the penalty. Now we have that we don't use you donut, says Tato. Oh, this sounds like a last warning here for the Springboks. Soggy biscuit, says yo. I know that is not a good thing. No, a donut in South Africa is bad, useless, says Steve. Right, they are going back for where the penalty was. I don't see South Africa getting away with too many more penalties in their half here. Any more that go against them, I think that we're probably going to see a card. That one has gone into touch. About 15 metres from the line now, England. This is possibly their best chance to score of the half, and they have to make the most of it. Territory, says Mr. Holland. We've seen a lot more territory, I think, still for England throughout this game. Donut is bad, says Jacobus. Okay, so donut bad, biscuit good. I'm starting to catch on, I think. Peter Steftatoy still out there on the field. He's got a bit of strapping around the head as well. Might have got a cut earlier on. Now we have got there, don't call me a donut. Call me a biscuit instead, says Young Stunner. Now 20 metres out from the line. It was a bit further than I thought it was, but 13 minutes remaining. The rolling maul is stuck in the mud. Although now they're starting to move forward. Harry Randall being told to use it, and you don't want to push the referee too hard. 22 metres out. We've got the aerial view at the moment. Maru Atoje straightens with his run. Now Randall, short side to Chandler Cunningham himself. Wanted the offload, but I think all he's done is just drop the ball. And now taken back into the 22. Cheslin, though, if this one goes into touch, they will go right back for it, and they will do just that. It was taken back, says Andrew Brace. Time's off. Okay, it's clearly bounced in the field of play, they've just said. And far out, says Gareth, it would be nice for England to win. Of a last gasp score for a change. Now, I mean, they've had a lot of close games go against them, the English, over their last maybe 12 months or so, but they're going to need some form of points very soon here, or else that might just not quite happen for them. Nicely taken by Chandler Cunningham himself. Harry Randall goes across to Marcus Smith, who's got a standing start, some intensity being shown by the Springboks here. They know one more try for them would close out this game. And once again, make it look like a relatively comfortable scoreline. 16 points would be the difference, but another penalty, double blow of the whistle. Here comes the yellow card for South Africa. Too many infringements in a row in the breakdown, and Gerhard Stennekamp is the one who has to make way. So they will only be 15 men on the field for the last minute and a half of this contest. How long until full time? 11 and a half minutes are remaining. Another penalty to Smith and the English. We are winning, bro, says Divas Queen Spa. But yeah, anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are only 300 away from 60,000. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, we are getting extremely close to that milestone. And let's see whether or not we can get there by the end of this live stream. Now, Luke Cowan-Dickie with another line-out throw here. It's going to be an important one for the English to make the most of the man advantage who will come on for the scrums. I'm not actually too sure. I guess Wilco Lowe would have to, possibly. Lukanyo now. He has made his way onto the field for Damien Dialendi, who we didn't see a huge amount of, but we actually saw a really good breaking run that led to the last try. That's dragged down by Peter Steph-Toy. This could even be another yellow card if they're not careful, but Luke Cowan-Dickie spins out of the South African tackle. The same can be said about Chandler Cunningham himself. Ball is still there for the English. Randall goes short to Finn Baxter. And there's a new advantage, this time for offside against South Africa. Harry Randall with the pick and go almost went through. Peter Steph-Toy was trying to block it, but he couldn't quite get in the way. Short ball, facing the wrong way was Baxter. They've got numbers to the left, but they want the easy try on the right. Henry Slater's screaming for the ball. He's got both hands up, but Randall hasn't seen him yet. That is still only 1 metre out from the try line. They'll go back now. Offside, and that was again 2 infringements just out from the line. I think this is going to be another last warning here for South Africa. It's still with 10 minutes remaining. The last thing they want to be is down to 13. So Peter Steph-Toy collapsing the maul. Then from there, an offside against South Africa, only a few metres out from their own line. I don't like blaming the ref. Either way, we have a bad ref day fix on the play, says Tanya. And Paul is correct, says Eric there. I like this commentator, says Alan. Thank you very much. They will go back to the original mark by the looks of it. This is an interesting one that they've gone to this mark. I would have thought that they'd go to the one in the middle of the field and go for a scrum, because that way the Springboks have to take off a back, or maybe someone in that loose forward trio to be able to counter it. But they've gone for the corner. They want that rolling maul, as they do also know that if this one gets dragged down, there's going to be another man going to the bin and perhaps a penalty try. Infringements left, right and centre, not called, says Sanazo. Now throwing this one in, they've gone to the front there, and it's a free kick for a not straight throw. Oh no, it was a dummy throw, sorry, he did the little the little hesitate. So that is a massive mistake from England. Like I said, they should have just taken the scrum in the middle of the field. It made more sense, puts the Boks under more pressure, and now the Boks will be able to clear their lines. This ref says Akile there. We are lucky, says Jaden. That one's going to go into touch, and now England will have the line-out throw from about 32 metres out. And we have got there whenever Andrew Brace refs, the Boks know they are playing against 16, says Neville. Yo, this ref sucks. Is that for that free kick decision, Samuel, or just in general? Now Luke Cowan, Dickey. Oh, knock on from Randall, off the line out again, mistake coming from the English. And that is now 2 big ones in a row. And now we're going to have to see the scrum of these South Africans. Right, there's going to be the change. There's a handshake there. Sia Khaleesi will make his way from the field by the sounds of it. Boks make it easy for the ref, says Jimbo, and biscuits are solid. Donuts have holes, says Lee. So Wilco Low, he will make his way back out onto the field. This is for Sia Khaleesi, seeing as they did not have the extra prop. And England could have forced this a couple minutes ago. Like I said, they had the perfect place on the field to be able to do it, right below the sticks. This game is becoming a little clumsy, says Sanazo there. The time has been turned back on now. 10 minutes remaining in this half. In fact, down to 9 minutes now. And anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are now only 200 subscribers away from the 60,000. See if we can get there by the end of this stream. We've got over 8,000 people watching, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, if you do want to help support the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to leave a like if you haven't already, as it is greatly appreciated. Kobus Reinach feeds the ball in. Good scrum from England. And Harry Randall does well to shut down Quagga Smith, who wasn't able to go around the side and get the move going. Now that's another penalty to the English. I was just trying to see the penalty count at the moment, and it's getting up there. In terms of the numbers, I think it's double figures for both of these sides. More than a Super Rugby match, that is, Hamish, for 8,300. That one's kicked into the corner. Well, not really. It's about 15 metres out again. South Africa, no comment about the ref because they in front. Differ if behind, says Spider-Mick. You're a great commentator. Keep it up, says Granes. Thank you very much. Could be a last-minute thriller, though, between these two teams thrown in, and this time it is much more controlled from the English. The rolling maul, it's starting to move forward. Vincent Koch has to be extremely careful here that he doesn't go in and collapse it. The white team, in this case England, have taken it to the floor, says the referee. Now counter-ruck coming from South Africa. I think that ball's almost, it would have been on their side. Now they've collapsed over the top of it, so they do have to roll away. No, the penalty goes their way for England trying to sweep it back. Now, South Africa once again will be able to kick this ball downfield. The ref has been great, says Brennan. Mate, you could have put us at number 1. You deserve the white team name, says Mr. Allin. And we have got the England have brought on George Ford. Now with just 7 minutes left, Pollard gets it into touch. A relatively late finish for you guys in South Africa, currently sitting 9:20. I'm sure the Bries are still well and truly brying, though. They'll be fired up for the evening feeds. But now, 6.5 minutes left. Lekker Boks, says Franvin. And we have got there, a go the Boks, says Stitch Lover. Biscuit, says David. Malcolm Marks to throw this ball, and it's over the top, and England claim it again. Steph Toy, that's a massive clean out on him, taking huge contact. Marcus Smith goes in behind here on the halfway line at the moment here for the English. Tommy Freeman, ball on the outside. Freddie Stewart moves forward after a missed tackle from Apelele Fasi. Now back in behind, Marcus Smith. Quick hands, good hands from Lawrence as well to pick it up from his ankles. Running forward up the middle. Tackled by Malcolm Marks. Itoje couldn't decide what way to pass it. Instead passes it to absolutely no one. And Vincent Koch gets over the ball and wins the penalty. Massive error from Itoje. And now gives once again Another penalty to South Africa. There's been a lot of them in the last 5 minutes or so, probably about 4 or 5 penalties. Now we have got there in the chat as well, Bry and Clippies and Coke. And Brandy says Chantel in 4 minutes. Yeah, let's get in that way. It says 79, but we have still got another 5 minutes left on the clock for this game, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as this game is over, we are also going to be doing the commentary for the match between France and New Zealand. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. But great pressure from Kobus Reinach to get round the side of the breakdown and really force the error. Me to cap of the line out sometimes. Who's dumb ref is never heard of. What a moron. Says WLK, and hang in there, South Africa from New Zealand. Looks like Chandler Cunningham himself got a bit of an ankle injury at the moment. Don't forget the waters. Says Milton. Keep holding with 14 men, Bok. And also we've got their Not the Box best tonight, says Dragon Girl, and fabulous commentary. But we've also got to remember, England are a side that, yes, people like to make fun of in certain regards, but they are also a team that are extremely good at disrupting what a team's game plan is and being able to make it scrappy, make it infuriating, and just known for making it ugly. And that's what's happened here. South Africa, they've had some crisp moments, but when England have been at their best, it's been when they've really pushed South Africa into that uncomfortable region. Hey, hello, the Bok, don't you, bro? Your second favourite team? Says Bradley. I mean, we've probably covered the Springbok games or South African matches in general the most aside from New Zealand. In fact, we've probably covered more South African games than New Zealand games on the channel in the past 4 years. Kobus Reinach now going back across to the right-hand side. Lucanio arm straightens and gets to 38 metres out from the line. Reinach with the pick and go straight into Dan Cole. Maruatoje wanted the turnover. The ball has bounced out the back door. Marks jumps on it and keeps it in position for South Africa. One more try here would secure the game for the green and gold. Wilco Low tackled low by Luke Cowan Dickey, but they will go back for another penalty. This could use up more time. If they want to do it strategically, I think South Africa will go for the kick at the post here. But then on the other side of things, if they kick for the corner and score a try, the game's fully done. So what do they decide to do? That is the big question. They've called for the shot. No, they haven't, sorry. Andre Pollard's called for the corner. They're looking for the win here, and they want to cap off this game with a statement. And South Africans should stick it up the jumper. What does that even mean? Are we South Africans have different brains? Says Young. I will be watching the All Blacks, says Ben Britt. So yeah, the commentary is going to continue all throughout that match between France and New Zealand. Also tomorrow night, we've got Australia versus Wales. Malcolm Marx now 22 metres from the line with another line-out throw. Well taken by Elric Lowe around the neck. He is asking for the penalty. But Elric Lowe screaming at the top of his lungs, telling his side to keep going. Dan Cole, did he go in legally there? Or does he have to release? The ref almost got in the way of Malcolm Marx's rolling maul attempt. Kobus Reinach across to, I was going to say Gerhard Stennekamp, but it is Wilco Lowe in this case due to that yellow card, which still has 1 more minute remaining. Quagga Smith hits it up. Chance for the Boks. Curtly Arends is screaming for it on this far side of the field. Keep that in mind when they go back to Andre Pollard soon. Reinach goes across to Elric Lowe. I think they'll try the cross kick. Here it comes. Reinach back into the pocket to Andre Pollard. Oh, it's a drop goal instead. And he's missed it away to the side. Will now be the 22 dropout for the English. We've got a donation from Franz Smith as well. Excellent commentary, Amish, you biscuit. Says Franz, thank you very much. See, I feel like if anyone in New Zealand calls me a biscuit in the future, I'll say thank you and then they'll be very confused. Can I have a shout out? Says All Blacks fan 123. Shout out to you. And now, kicked high from Marcus Smith. And well taken by Cheslin Colby under the high ball. He's already scored himself 2 tries throughout this game. Definitely a man of the match contender. I think 90 seconds remaining on the clock now. Elric Lowe hits it up again. Dan Cole makes the tackle. Now Reinach, he'll go for the kicker behind here. Into the English 22. Should be an easy catch for Marcus Smith, who calls the mark. They don't really have too much time to waste here, England. And big shot coming in from Kwaga, who gets over the ball, wants the turnover, but won't quite get it. Now Freddie Stewart will kick this one downfield again and gets it into touch. George Ford's dad is a donut, says Marco there. And a Bok defending with 14 men won this game, beast, says Jimbo. And it's as if losing that player actually motivated them that little bit more. They seemed more focused once they were down to 14, maybe thinking about it that little bit extra. And Kolbe, he has been named as man of the match, which is fair enough. There we go. Now running it forward here again, it is Lucanio. England, one last chance after they win the penalty. And when will the game end? In about 35 seconds is when this game is going to come to a close. Marcus Smith looking for touch and does manage to get there. They've seen clear release, then back on the ball, so the penalty did go their way. Once again, good commentating. My 15 game with your commentating. Thanks there, Chantel. And we have got there Colby for the win. Yeah, he's had a really good game out on that wing, Colby. Oh, that's a big clean out from Sia Khaleesi, who has made his way back out onto the field. The Boks now back to 15. Are England going to have a 2-point deficit here? If they can score one last try. Kobus Reinach says no thank you, rips it away, boots it into touch, and England have lost 3 in a row for the November internationals. 29 points to 20, the victory for the Springboks, who have gone 2 from 2 so far in the north, with one more game next week up against the Welsh, and there are question marks about who is Rassi going to select. Of course, we will have predictions all throughout the week, and then when it is announced, we will let you know as well. But a close game in certain regards, but then at the end, the Springboks just slowly pulling away with it. 9 points the difference between these two sides. But Kobus Reinach coming onto the field late, getting to boot that ball into touch. Of course, the starting 9 was brilliant for the Boks. Grant Williams doing extremely well. Amateur, an absolute legend, top-notch. Commentary says, Lester, thank you very much. And go this South Africans, thanks, Amish, a great man through the man. Or a great match through you, man. Says Magical, thank you very much. And of course, the action does not stop there. We've still got another game that is taking place tonight, and that is going to be the contest that is happening between New Zealand and France. Looks like Rassi is trying to get a picture with a fan, although I don't think he actually wants the picture with the fan by the looks of it. The fan was just sticking the phone in the face. Have no faith England would win. And we have got there, thanks to the commentary, Hamish. And it's a pretty surprising scoreline, to be honest. At the end of the first half, we were already at, I think it was 18 or 19 points to 17 it was sitting. So second half really slowed down. And, I mean, it was just a out and out, both sides full of pace first half. Second half, it got a lot more physical. And they really had to dig deep, South Africa, but getting the job done. 2 wins from 2, like I said. Wales next week. And then for the English, they have got a match up against the Japanese, which of course they will want to end this 5-match losing streak that they are currently on. And the last team that they beat was Japan, and now they get to play them again for the next match. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. It is greatly appreciated. Every single one of you who has been here, who has messaged, who has liked, who has subscribed at the moment. In terms of the subscriber numbers, we are only 4 away from 60,000. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that button. You could be the 60,000th subscriber of the Kiwi Lads channel. And we are continuing with the live streams, of course, all throughout next week, throughout this weekend, France versus New Zealand, the next game that is taking place. You Biscuit Hamish says, Tato, thank you very much. I've learnt to say thank you to being called a biscuit. And there we go. We have hit the 60,000. Ladies and gentlemen, love the accent, says Lee. In there, thank you very much, mate. And the pleasure is yours, says Milton John. Love your hard work. Keep going. And the chat as well. And we got another donation from Samuel. Loved it, mate. Great energy. Now New Zealand and the Wallabies says Samuel. So yeah, the next game that is taking place, All Blacks versus France, just around the corner. And then straight after that, we are into the next contest, which is taking place between between Wales and Australia. That is happening tomorrow night. Congrats on 60,000. That's class. Says a jazzing panda there. And also what time's the next game, says Cupido. It is going to be taking place in only around 35 minutes time. So we are starting our commentary in 15 minutes for that next match. And then we are straight into the kickoff as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I said, if you are new and you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're now getting closer to 61,000 on the channel as well. We'll see you all for the next one.